What? Three, four.
not to stray. Spark the match, light the flame. Out of sight, dangerous, dynamite. Dynamite! Setting fire to the ground.
A nice pre-fire should catch kindness. Passes some kindness. Says, I'm taking out you first, and then you later, baby. Let's go. I'm gonna be surprised if we see execute. Try to, you know, take out this side of the map a little early on, but they're staying completely away. K19.
Still got one up. The DBS.
It's out. Oh my gosh.
Walking right into the DBS. The 1v2 right now, Hot Jukes.
Alf, it's your time.
No!
Can you do this? He gets another. One more. The DBS under. Where are your shots?
The plane has loaded and the battleground is ready here for another day of action at the PUBG Mobile Pro League North America Fall 2023 season. So I'm your host, Jason Kaplan, and we already have, 3 days of play here in Phase 2 already done and dusted, but we still have 2 more to come, and one of those is going to be here today. But before we can jump into this game, you guys at home need to be tweeting, need to be posting with this hashtag PMPLNA to let us know your thoughts about the show, your favorite teams, your favorite players, your favorite plays, anything and everything that you have to say. We love to read it, and we love to actually potentially show it here on the show when you guys put up some good stuff. But speaking of good stuff and who puts it up, it's going to be my co-host, not my co-host, my analyst. I guess he could be a co-host if he wants to. It's Uneven here, joining me on the desk yet again for another day of action. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing really good. How are you?
You know what? No one ever asked me that. I feel like you know what, I do this show with 7. He's just like, yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Jason. I'm fantastic. I'm doing great. And then that's it. And I'm like, all right, cool. I guess my day doesn't matter to you. I'm doing good, man. I'm excited to be back yet again, man. I'm excited to see how these teams are going to do here in our 4th day, because we've had some struggles out of some teams, but we've seen some other teams really rise up through the ranks and really show some consistency, but also an improvement in performance from week 1. I'm happy to see that. I bet you're happy to see that. But what was your takeaway overall from yesterday? If you can give me that all wrapped up in a nice little bow in just 20 seconds.
Yeah, you mean... just like you said it, we saw a lot of increased performance from the middle of the pack teams, which is something that I always like to see. You know, for the overall quality of the region, that's really important. And, you know, need I say it, and Hyper continuing to do what they do, and very, very dominantly. They're playing extremely well, keeping it up, increasing their lead.
Okay, that was your 20 seconds. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I'm just kidding.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, that's it. You know, and Hyper's killing it. I mean, that's obvious. Look at these points, like 40-something point lead. No, not quite, but almost there. Over Extreme Slayers, who, you know, are kind of slowing down these last couple of days. But nobody else is catching, you know, is picking up that slack. So they're running off with it.
Yeah, and for good for them too, right? Because we have PMGC around the corner as well. This is getting them in a good position to set themselves up for that invite. But with the falling off of Extreme Slayers, you know, YKG, I want to even throw Execute in there. We're seeing the likes of like 412 Nomads, Ace of Spades, PassionFruit, LOTUS really start to improve on their performance and take advantage of the situation as well. I mean, obviously, these teams that I mentioned, they have no chance really of qualifying at all into PMGC through PMGC points because they're way too far behind. But this gives an opportunity to get into regionals, man. Like, get into finals, improve that performance going into finals as well. Maybe get into regionals, play in regionals, maybe win that title, get some good experience under your belt to come back next season and next year for another year of PMGC. But as we take a look here at the middle of the pack teams, never thought I would be saying that YKG in 11th place.
Yeah, you know, and with how quiet they've been, I'm almost even surprised to see them this high up the leaderboard. But, you know,
it was yesterday, man. Yesterday they had like 5 limbs, right?
Right, yeah. But, you know, again, they're just, as the days go on, they're making it harder and harder themselves exponentially against NHyper, because those guys are not going to slow down. You know they're going to be consistent. You know they're going to stay up there.
Yeah.
You know, the rest is pretty normal, I guess. They're kind of struggling to find their footing in these lobbies right here. PUPPETEER, you know, not living up to the potential that we've seen from them. still struggling to find that firepower, find those team fights that they had last week, especially towards the end. But, you know, maybe that's their style. Maybe they like to start off slow and then pick up and end with a bang. So you never know.
Hopefully for their sake, they can do just that, because they are going to start to run out of time. We are now over halfway past our phases, right? There are our league stage, I guess you can call it here, as we only have phase 3 to come up, and of course the rest of phase 2 here. As we look down the rest of the list here, Speedfire, you know, they had a fantastic final match of the day yesterday. It was really great to see them finally have some signs of life. They got a second place finish with 8 eliminations. And obviously there's a lot we had to say about how they actually accomplished that and how they potentially should have gotten more. But it's just showing that, like, really there is an opportunity for any of these teams to have that really good match. The problem is you can't have one good match and expect for those results to carry you through to the finals. You have to have those consistent results, and consistency is something we're seeing a lot of teams right now lacking in week 2 in phase 2.
Yeah, and as you said, you know, matches like that are really good for Speedfire, right? It's evident the mistakes they've made, and when you get into those late game opportunities, you have a lot of more footage to review and to, you know, like, what did we do wrong? Find our mistakes, you know, as opposed to if you're going down early all the time, you know, there's too many things to even look at. But here they can say, listen, like, we've made some clear timing errors, some aggressive errors. We got to be paying more attention to that feed, the elimination feed, and be using all that information to our benefit. And so hopefully, you know, this time around today, they're fresh with these ideas in their minds, and they can increase their performance. It's definitely always nice to get taste into the late game and to really push the limits into that. You know, that's where your team can learn the most and improve the most. So hopefully they can learn some lessons.
Yeah, and I like how you mentioned, right, getting to the late stage, like getting a second place finish. It kind of it feels like maybe for a team getting over that mental block of like, why are we struggling to get to the later stages? We keep messing up earlier on, but then now they're able to get through. They can look back, like you're saying, figure out how to replicate that here into today and hopefully use that to their advantage. But teams who have been able to do that so far, 412 Nomads, man, I know I've given a little bit of smack talking, I'll say, definitely a lot more to you off camera, but they have started to really impress here. You can see the left-hand side, that's going to be from phase 1, so that's going to be from last week. And on the right side, it's going to be from phase 2. Now, you're obviously going to see this and be like, whoa, they obviously did better in phase 1 than phase 2. Well, no, they actually haven't played another 8 matches that they still have yet to go here in phase 2. So there's easily a chance for them to catch up on the eliminations, easily on the damage here with the pace they've been showing us.
Yeah, I mean, clearly their damage and eliminations is on pace to you know, surpass their previous week. And, you know, it's a little bit clearer if we look at their overall points, you know, because they've been placing really well. They've been getting to those late games. And so they've only, at this current stage, you know, meaning they have 8 full games left, 2 full days, they're only 7 points behind their total points earned last week. And so that means, you know, they're one decent game and they're already surpassing their last week's total points, and with many more games to play. So, you know, they're definitely going to surpass. They're definitely playing at a much better pace right now. And if they keep it up, they're going to have a huge week, and they're going to, you know, definitely shoot up those leaderboards, those overall standings.
Yeah.
You know, they're currently in 6th place, which is not bad. So they have a fair shot for, you know, top 5, top 4, top 3, maybe even.
And the thing is, right, you mentioned last week, 103 points in phase 1. They're at 96 here in phase 2. Exactly. And they obviously have about, like, let's just call it 20, because I don't want to calculate it off the top of my head. I think it's like 15, more realistically. Less eliminations, which to me means, hey, they got a lot more placements so far in phase 2, meaning they're making it into the later stage of the game. They're being more confident about this and figuring out that formula to consistently get there. And with 8 matches left to go, they for sure should be able to do it. But another team as well, and it's just like 412 Nomads, as we're focusing on more of the middle of the pack teams, Ace, man, they have really been able to improve quite a lot. And I think for me, I know average eliminations doesn't look like that big of a change or average damage, but I feel like they've been more clean in their team fighting, and they've been able to keep their head on a swivel a lot better in these later stages when things get so hectic. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, you know, the statistics are a little bit difficult to read sometimes, but you got to pay attention to that extra 4 minutes of survival times. It may not seem like a lot, but in a game like PUBG, where from the circle 6 to 8, you go from 60 players to like, you know, in really packed lobbies, you can go from 50 plus to down to 10 in like 1 or 2 circles, right? So these 4 minutes of times actually represent a drastic improvement in their placements, and that's reflected in their overall scores. Again, just like Nomads, their previous week total is 101 points, and right now with 2 days left, they're at 90, right? That means there's 11 points to make up. They can absolutely do that in a single game, and they can do much more than that in the 8 games that they have remaining. So they're blowing out their last week's performance and consistently at that, which is what we like to see. You know, that just improving week from week to week. That's what you got to do.
And I know I've kind of touched on this before, but I think this is probably the most important phase actually for these like middle of the pack teams, because you have teams like YKG and Extreme Slayers not doing well. Every point you get right now is going to be added into your overalls in our league stage, and there's going to be a 4 set of bonus points awarded based off of that. So any extra points you're getting right now, when YKG can't really bump up the points, means you're going to get yourself that much closer or that much higher up in our overalls from all of our phases. Potentially get a couple extra bonus points going your way, and potentially some extra thousands of bucks in your pocket because of those bonus points. And another team, as we're looking at continuing the middle of the pack, it's going to be PASSIONFRUIT. Obviously, we didn't have Sixless play at all this week, but it doesn't seem to have hindered PASSIONFRUIT. If anything, it actually kind of helped them. Whether it's Sixless, helping them behind the scenes, or it's just VOPE coming in and really bringing a new life to the roster that they needed in this phase.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like a totally different team, right? I mean, these average damage and elimination differences are huge. You know, their survival time doesn't reflect it, and they're not getting into too many late games. You know, we haven't really seen them in contention for many chicken dinners, but they're still using those elimination points and blowing away their last week's performance, right? In fact, they're, you know, they've got the best pace compared to the 3 teams that we've been comparing right now, with only 4 points to make up, with 2 whole days left to catch up to their last week's total points, right? Last week was 89. This week, right now, they're currently at 85. So they're playing much, much better. And, you know, if they can keep it up, again, right? So, you know, this week isn't over, which means they could, you know, they could get 0 points for the remaining of the 8 games, but they could also continue or even improve their performance and really, really, you know, forget about the last week. This brand new team. And so, yeah.
And they're really proving to be that as well. Like, I like seeing Nate kind of at the forefront. I feel like whenever we talk about Nate, we always think back to the Panthers and like day 1 play out of him, really able to bring a spark of life into the team. And I've seen him start to really step up his game yesterday as well. So I'm curious to see if that's going to continue into another day. I swear we always talk about consistency, but consistency is so damn key. I can never stress that enough when it comes to PUBG Mobile, especially in these long form events that we currently have. And speaking of this event, let's take a look at the schedule for you guys today so you see what our Battleground order will be. Just like always, we will have 2 Erangels, and they'll actually be over towards the start of the day. So kicking things off in Erangel instead of Sanhok from yesterday, which I think Hot Chicks is going to be happy about. But then we're going into Vikendi, Erangel, Miramar, and Sanhok once again.
Ending off on that Sanhok is, you know, that's always an interesting one. Last game of the day, you know, people are all tired, and Sanhok's the most aggressive, the most twitchy, the most, you know, you kind of need to really be on your stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over there.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Did you watch much of PMWI?
I watched a bit. I watched my friend Coops play. I think.
Okay.
Wait.
A little subtle flex there about being friends with him. I know he was there. He was at PMWI. Don't worry. I remember the Galaxy. We actually had a Battleground order of like all the Battlegrounds were clumped up. So if we ever had multiple Miramars, they would be together, like one after another. We had like 3 Erangels in a row. And I'm actually curious from like a professional point of view, from a player point of view, right? What's your thoughts on actually switching it up, right? And having like, if you have double Erangels, you played one after another. You don't switch things up like that.
You know, I could see some pros and cons, right? When you're getting ready for a match, right? You're getting ready for that. Obviously, you take the map into you know, into your calculations, right? Into consideration, right? And you know, you're fresh off a previous match. You've got that brand new data to analyze and to like take into consideration again. So you know, you're kind of in the flow. You know exactly what the teammates or what the other teams are doing. I don't mind it. I think in terms of a coach / IGL / analyst position, it's a little bit easier, right? You don't have to swap back and forth, and because there can be completely different play styles based on the maps, based on the teams, and all that stuff. So I don't mind it. And you know, yeah, you got that really, really updated information about the enemy teams right off, 15 minutes ago. So I don't mind it. Could get a little bothersome, but yeah,
I can
think
tell you,
overall, I'd prefer it probably.
I honestly, I actually love it because it gives the teams the ability to just like kind of watch the game plays out, fix and tweak things instead of having to wait for a couple hours to play that battleground again. But while they were waiting, they could always, keep their energy up with a monster energy. They can unleash their beast while waiting, while being knocked out of the lobby off the bat. That's actually probably one of the best ways you should spend it. Chugging a monster, talking about the last game, looking to improve yourself. I would be doing that. That's actually what I do in between our games. I know you didn't know that, but
I did not. I didn't know that. Maybe that's why you're so good. You got so much energy.
I keep telling you, like, I'm getting up to get a drink when the match starts. What drink do you think I'm getting?
That's a monster right there.
Yeah,
cold one.
All right. Well, speaking of monsters, head over to our monster casters with Hot Jukes and Zute to drop us into our first match of the day.
Let's get it go. What's up, everybody? Yo, it's Hot Jukes here with Zute. Bro, you know what? I did like what we heard earlier. I like the back-to-back maps because it shows instantly, you know what I'm saying, if the team improved or didn't, as opposed to start of the day versus end. You got to kind of refer back to it. But hey, you know what? To each their own. Regardless, we get to see some amazing PUBG Mobile play. So I'm excited regardless, man. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad that we get to see these games in general. Regardless of the map order and everything, I think there's definitely different dynamics and depth to it. Same maps in a row, alternating maps. Personally, for me, I'd have to agree with you. I think same maps in a row, it's so much easier to see how teams adapt, right? And as a caster, we're able to point things out like, oh man, it's the same circle and they're still doing this and they're still messing
right
up. Or, and they're still not adapting. And so, I don't know. It's got its plus and minuses for sure, Jukes.
Well, you know what? Speaking of pluses, right? A lot of these teams need to put some big points on the board today because Ed Hyper has been dominating the lobby this week, and one team that we're really keeping an eye on has got to be YKG, right? They got to show up because that PMGC point gap is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We see some games where they kind of catch them up a little bit, but then there's some games where Ed Hyper just, so consistent, always putting up points on the board. But we're about to get started here in Erangel, Zute. Anything else standing out to you?
Well, besides YKG and Hyper, Ace of Spades, they've been showing up this week. I do want to see, some of these other teams that are not in PMGC point contention keep going at it. Like, sure, you're not getting the grand prize of that PMGC invitation, but that doesn't mean you can't work your way up to it still, right? Get into the Americas, and for the Americas they're on. And if they really start showing up now, it'd be great.
Well, another team in particular that I got to really keep an eye on has got to be, a squad like SLR. Yesterday, SLR just went crazy, started putting up some points on the board. Like you mentioned, there are some teams that are so far behind that it's going to be tough, right? But at the same time, Uneven said it. This week ain't over. This week is not over. This tournament ain't over. There's still a lot of time to put some major points on the board, and we're going to see some squads do that here in just a couple of minutes, folks, as the plane is flying, and we have a beautiful southern plane path right now. Look at that. You see YKG hopping off immediately. They're going to be heading straight to Primors. That has been their new drop location. One thing in particular that we've really noticed is that ever since PMWI, Vampire Esports dominated. They won almost $700,000, almost $700,000 in just a week of playing PUBG Mobile. How crazy is that? And YKG looks like they did their homework because this, they're taking similar drop locations. They're playing Edge of Zone like we saw Vampire do before. So it's good to see teams look up to other squads, and we see some emulation here and there as we take.
1, 2, perfect. There, and this plane path right now, you already mentioned it, it's looking like, oh man, just a circle straight dead in the middle. I thought for a second there, Jukes, with that plane path with so many teams on Military Island already, I had a feeling that was going to be a milli zone, but well, we've seen enough of those already, to be honest, Jukes.
Sure. Yeah, I think going dead center now is going to be pretty fun. So I think it's a good, solid circle for a lot of teams. You know, your Ace of Spades, BULUC, CHABTAN, Butterfly Fleck are going to have to go ahead and move on up, but hopefully they've done their homework by now and have figured out a route in. But you never know. You may have teams like Speedfire. You know, you see BOPE over there, both hanging out by either bridge side. Could see a possible bridge camp coming up as well. Try to put some points on the board. And up north, it looks like we got SLR and Wall Street Bets pretty close together right now.
Yeah, that could definitely be another fight happening. It's great to see that, you know, as far as Erangel goes, no more hot drops. And Rozak, I think that all of those were really one-sided. That was the issue. If they were close, then I wouldn't mind seeing more, but they were so one-sided, so it's good to see that those teams, two teams, are just, you know, done with fighting. And Rozak, this circle, you mentioned bridge camping. Yeah, we could see the reverse bridge camp. We've seen a lot of bridge camps from, you know, the main island to military base happen, and it's been pretty successful. But this time around, there could be some reverse bridge camping, right, from military base outwards, especially with, you know, the plane flying over military base. The teams still on the plane, they could see how many teams have jumped off, and they could kind of assume that there is at least maybe 2, if not more, teams on military base. So if one of the teams landed close to military base, but not in it, they could decide to bridge camp for some points there.
If you decide to do a bridge camp, though, it is going to take a lot of time off the clock. And speaking of time, Drago's not going to have any more here in this first match, as Drago is going to go down to MEZEXIS. So it looks like the MEZEXIS and Canadian Eagles are battling it out. And, oh, it's all the way over here in Lepavka. Wow. So Inactive getting that finish there. Oh, you can see Bob tried to save him, but instead he's going to head to the lobby as well. Beautiful job here from MEZEXIS.
Man, Canadian Eagles were popping off yesterday. They had multiple squad wipes on their own.
Oh, my goodness.
And they just cannot deal with Inactive, though. Not with that DBS on top of the stairs. That is just 3 of Canadian Eagles out.
Inactive says, we take those. We take those. And then Quinn, all by his lonesome, forced to run off and start the escape pad. Yeah, you know, it's very interesting to see Canadian Eagles start off like this. Because you're right, yesterday they had like the craziest defense I think we've ever seen, right?
Yeah.
They were taking out top squads here and there, 2v4, making plays, and then, you know, just have a rough start here. So what are you going to do, though, when you have a player like Inactive just pop off with a DBS 1v3?
Yeah, I hope that doesn't really, like, slow down their momentum that they had from yesterday, because a bad start to a new day, a fresh day, it could really ruin the rest of the day. We'll see how they do. But Wall Street Bets coming in here onto Skills of Mine, looking like they're crashing in, knowing there's definitely a player here. Yeah, they're grouping up for it. Killjoy taking some shots right there, trying to hold this down. And an opening from the side of Skills of Mine, that's good. Try and catch another one. That's such a risky pushover by Killjoy. Getting the revive. And Bomba with the angle. That's 2 down for Wall Street Bets.
Bomba is making it happen. Catches Killjoy. This guy is going crazy. Let's see if Badger can hold it down by himself. He can't, so they are going to lose him. That's a rough loss right there on the side of Skills of Mind. And not looking to press this even harder. Yeah, I'm a big question mark. Bomba said, no. I got the Bison. I already knocked a couple. I'm coming in hot, baby. The jump shot! Straight to the lobby.
Man. There's a difference between pushing.
It looked cool, though. It looked cool.
And applying pressure. All he needed to do was apply pressure. He didn't need to run in on his own. Just get close, you know, make them get off the revive. Going for a thirst, that's a little bit risky. He takes some free damage for it, but turning your back, that's even worse. Skills of Mine will end up taking that one, but I saw a lot of, like, shaky plays that could have been much, much better from the side of Skills of Mine.
For sure, for sure. Definitely some simple mistakes. I think that they lost, well, especially they lost Bomba for sure. Right there, pretty silly. I think they could have he just would have been more patient, waited it out.
It was a 4v2.
Yeah. So it should have been. Oh yeah. So then they lost 2 of their members.
Yeah,
like that.
They lost 2. First it was Badger, and I think he could have just stayed on the balcony, right? They knocked 2.
He could have just waited.
The last 2 were in his building. Just run out or set your place set yourself in a spot to run back to your teammates, because he had 1 or 2 teammates close by. They just weren't close enough to run into the building yet. So, I mean, Badger easily could have saved himself, and then Bomba, I think, started getting a little panicky. You saw him just run up there and just push straight in. And I think one thing for these teams to learn, for the more inexperienced teams we have competing here, the key difference between pushing and just getting close and applying pressure. Like, if you don't want them to get a revive because you have the man advantage, all you really need to do is get close, throw some nades, make some noise, and you can hear if they get fidgety and you know they're not on that revive. You don't have to jump right in and take a 1v1.
Yeah. But you know what? You know what? I think that could be... Actually, I'm going to go against that, Zute.
Okay, what you got?
Against that. The reason why, $500. Okay, Zute, right, for the best highlight moment.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
You know, if you realize that your team ain't making it, you know, and we're not doing good, hey, I'm gonna go for the highlight play, baby. I'm gonna go for that jumping 360 shot by myself, 1v2. You know what I'm saying? Even though we have our whole team up and we just work together, we just win this.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Even though we have our
right?
whole team up.
Even though, right? You know what? I'm gonna make the play.
All
You know,
right,
I'm gonna channel my inner fate, and I'm just gonna send it, baby. You know, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. It just unfortunately didn't work out for them. So it is what it is.
Okay, all right, sure. That is valid to an extent, so I'll give you that much. Extreme Slayers picking up a point right there on to BOPE, looking like they're wanting to chase them down to get some more points. Extreme Slayers, this is a team that, you know, have been doing okay this week, for sure. 100 points right there. You can see second place, but I want to see some more out of Extreme Slayers. Like, you know, stick true to the name. Just like start picking up a lot of frags and chickens. And it's like from week 1, we saw the 3 Titans, right? Extreme Slayers, NHyper, and YKG. With YKG kind of out of the picture this week, not doing as well, I was hoping Extreme Slayers could be the ones to step up.
True.
To really, like, you know, shoot themselves up and take that first place position. But NHyper is just way too consistent.
Yeah, and Hyper's been way too consistent. 134 total points so far in the live break. You saw that. Extreme Slayers are far behind, though. They have 100. Okay? Right? So, I mean, they could definitely, you know, the weekend's not over. Today, they have a good performance. Tomorrow, they do as well. I mean, we could, in fact, see Extreme Slayers on top here. Now, YKG, they have to double their points. Yeah, more than double their points to even catch up to NHyper at this point. So, yeah, they definitely have their work cut out for them. But, you know, for Extreme Slayers, it's still possible.
Yeah. We got, like, a school zone, Jukes. This is one we haven't seen yet on Erangel. It's always nice to see these, you know, zones be a little bit different, especially in these buildable areas as they're pushing in. SLR holding a huge split. Maybe too greedy of a split, and NHyper, they could tell. They could tell it's just like one player at most 2, just based on the amount of noise they're hearing, the amount of resistance. So that's when NHyper gets very aggressive, and great nade to open that one up.
Beautiful nade. Taking some really nice, really nice advantage of that situation. You can see Stellar getting beat up. Yeah, he tries to go to the pool area, and NHyper's not going to let that slide.
Yeah,
Here they come.
Yeah, Koi's immediately there wanting to cut him off. Man, this NHyper team looking so different.
By the way, you know, best team in the lobby right now. Koi go for the 1v1? No, sir. Oh, but Stellar's on the run. Stellar does make it outside. Rin's there. You get to see the team working together, applying that pressure. Then yes, he does have to watch out. That's why he doesn't want to peek it out just
disciplined.
yet.
So disciplined.
Yes, so disciplined. But look at the confirmation. I'm telling you guys, everybody watching right there, individual gun skill is amazing. The best teams in the world don't fight fair, though.
Yeah.
You know, they're not about, oh, you know, 1v1 me. You know, let's take it outside. Let's do 1v1. It's not how it works. They're going to take 2-3 players, and they're going to 3v1 you, hold angles, cover each other, throw nades, whatever it takes to get that dub. Because you know what? I mean, there's just too much cheddar on the line right here, and it's too easy. It's so much easier to take a player out like that rather than risk the 1v1, lose a player early, and then, yeah, so something to keep in mind. Something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I love the fact that he didn't push outside of the walls to go for that peak. Like, he had him on the ropes. He would have won that for sure, but he exposes himself to the supporting lines, and he could just get knocked from that and then thirsted, right? So he went for a really tight peak, even though I would see a lot of players just swing that get the knock and try and run back in. So great discipline out of Hyper. We get the next shift. We are going to the hills, to the west of school. This area of the map, Jukes, will make for some really exciting gameplay. It's going to be coming down to the King of the Hill, maybe even the King of the Ruins.
Maybe even the King of the Ruins, indeed. You can see Exotico throwing some Molotovs down the way. Extreme Slayers, we're looking to catch up, right? Look, this is a good fight for them. Frady does go down, but their team is playing very tightly here, so they're okay as long as they don't make any more mistakes. Just buy some time, Remix, throw in that utility through the window. Does piece up Exotico a little bit. And the rest of Butterfly Effect, yeah, it's just him, all by himself, so he's going to have to make a play, and unfortunately... Oh, it's Koi from Hyper that steals that point away.
That was from school.
Wow.
That was from the school swimming pool.
Crazy. Bop, bop, bop. Goodbye. Easy point.
That is not an easy shot to hit. From school swimming pool. And to have the wherewithal to look this direction, because, I mean, we could see the mini-map. Koi has, like, 40 different opponents just around the school vicinity. But he's looking right there because he just knows there's a point to be had over there, and he hits those shots. Hyper, the long-range gods.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So a crazy performance from them so far, and they're doing really solid here, points-wise. I mean, it's kind of crazy to watch the disparity between them and YKG when it comes to phase 1 versus phase 2. Yeah, look at Chico. Chico getting popped up.
Oh.
Nice shots from Kiddo and heads up to really go ahead for that vehicle, because that's going to leave Chico just in a really tough position. Completely stuck out, and the team's going to have to save him. But here comes Extreme Slayers. They do cross the road, so they are going to look to finish this individual player from XEZ. That was a nice shot there. Nice shot. They're going to go ahead and make sure to put in that work.
I
And
think he mollied the stairs.
did he molly the stairs by
Yeah.
himself? Remix this nade should be good, though. Oh, he jumped out!
Oh,
he jumped out!
XEZ going for the plays!
Remix! Oh, the nade! No way!
But
The nade
Hyper-
did not go upstairs!
Hyper's coming right here, though, for the third party. Oh, Hyper's third party gets stuck by 412 from distance. The nade is good, though. The nade puts up a lot of damage. This is a lot of noise happening here, and Hyper needs to be a little bit cognizant of a potential third party, fourth party. They're going to pull back just a little bit. See, I love that. Hyper, they see an opportunity, they go for it. The second something goes a little bit awry, right? Koi gets knocked from 412.
What a nade!
Instant pullback, but they're still making it rain with the grenades.
It's just applying that pressure constantly, even when they're forced to pause for a second and get that rest.
Oh!
What a nade from Robert, though! That is gonna
go
do
aggro.
it. And here comes the full send. He's going by
I
himself
love
so
it.
far. Where's the rest of the team?
There's only 2 left.
That's true.
He's got to go
Gotta
for
make a
it.
play.
Got to make the play. This
That's
could be it for
good shots
Hyper.
right there. Gun swap. Oh, the mini! The mini!
No.
Hip fire mini. Koi said, no, sir. No, sir.
Oh, the rest of the
Bop,
team was
bop,
getting
bop, bop.
revived. So there was 3 total. One's go for the revive, man. That's one of those plays where it's like, Frady, split-second decision. Go for it if you want to. Man, Frady goes down. Extreme Slayer still trying to stay alive here. The grenade from Ren got that one. And Hyper just... Oh, okay. Ren really went for it this time by himself. That I don't know about.
Hey, you know what? Give it to him, right? When you make so many good plays in a row, it's okay to get a little bit antsy. And Rin goes for the play, gets caught. Ayuya! Being super patient with that DBS, buying some time. Uh-oh. You better watch out for that DBS. He knows it.
That's scary.
Yep. And he said, you know what? I'm sorry, buddy. I'm not going to risk this.
I'm going
So
upstairs.
goes upstairs, and down goes his teammate. So that's just BOPE right there. The nades
Oh my god.
from Hyper are disgusting. They are just soaking up these points. I mean, with just pure nade eliminations right here. It's crazy.
You know, I think Hyper has been brushing up on their geometry. They are nailing these grenades off the walls, off the banks, off the rooftops. GK first goes down, but I think that's all he's gonna get. He does get thirsted though, so that's some damage.
Goes a nade out. Oh, he gets caught with it in his hand. And it looks like Hyper did hear that pin pulled. But man, look at the points they have so far.
Oh man,
what a crazy play.
Wow. Yeah, I think earlier Ren ran into the house by himself because he got a grenade finish. So he probably didn't realize that that was him stealing a point away. He thought he maybe got the last member and they cleared out the building. So I think that's why Ren ran in by himself. But still, for them to reset back to 4 and then still continue to push across. When have you seen Hyper be this aggressive? Usually they just sit in the warehouse and chill and play the zone.
Yep.
This is a
And
new
they'll
Hyper.
third party. Yeah, they'll third party when it's like all the way almost done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like just when it's the obvious push. But yeah, you know what? They're forcing it. They're forcing the matter now. So I love that from Hyper. I think that was perfectly played. That, you know, beautiful use of utility, just disrupting those fights, going for that third party. I don't even mind Koi going for the run out. You know what I'm saying? Koi looking to try to make a play and finish. Yeah, it didn't work, but it's not always going to work, right? There's a situation where, you know, a multiverse world where he does make that push, goes in, gets the finish, and then they're good to go. So, you know what? I don't mind, you know, those 50-50 plays. Sometimes they don't work out, but it's good to see Hyper willing to take some risks there.
Yeah, GK first being the only one to get finished there or confirmed. And you know what? I bet you, Jukes, that's the main thing they're focused on. After they review that play, GK first is probably, I messed up so bad. Like, there was no reason for me to be outside of the building at that angle, knowing we're making this much noise. An obvious mistake, right? I could easily get knocked inside the house and get revived. So it's like they're just constantly going to strive to get better and better, even though they crushed it right there, in my opinion, in terms of playing aggressive, which is something, you know, we've constantly telling Hyper to do. Well, they're still going to focus on their mistakes, and it's just that one small detail. That's what's going to really stand out in GK first mind.
Well, you know what's going to stand out as well is these teams and which one is going to be the winner of this match. This is a very interesting circle right here. It looks like we're going to get a Watertown finish. It's been a while since we've seen one of these. Some really good hilltops, really good little bowls that you could hold down. You can see Issa Jack, the last player for YKG, is holding one all by his lonesome. So which one do you think is going to win the match? There's a lot of options here.
Yeah.
You can see Dong trying to mount the defense as it looks like Ace of Spades are going to be pushing up onto them.
Oh, Ace of Spades. We talked about them in the pre-show. They've had a really dominating performance this week compared to their first. Let's see if they can do something here. If they secure this spot against Puppeteers, this is a strong spot on the edge of the map. So much vision to the rest of the zone. They really need to be able to take out this team, though, and keep all 4 up.
Let's see what the play is going to be as Dong looking to mount the defense. You know, Ace of Spades, looks like they did barely make it into this circle. Yeah, so I think they do have this edge to themselves.
They got to keep fighting.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do. Here comes Excuse on the push, and they're getting some suppressive fire from that angle. They're going to have to decide on which team they're going to fight. What's the best play? Reckless does knock one of their players, and Ace of Spades is in big trouble here.
Yeah, Ace of Spades caught from that off angle from Reckless. Great position from Reckless. Ace of Spades was not ready for it. Now, Ace of Spades, they're on the defense. Puppeteers going aggressive. I feel like Ace of Spades should have kept their momentum and kept trying to push and force the matter, but they give Puppeteers a chance, and now the Puppeteers, they're looking to take it.
Oh, which team won the match? Different decisions, I think, from almost everybody, except you and Uneven have chosen MEZEXIS on the other side of the map.
Yep.
They definitely have a lot of room to breathe there, especially with an active popping off the way he did earlier. But so far, that's the only eliminations they have. Let's see how Puppeteer's gonna take this fight. I love the heads-up play. Saying, hey, we need to clear this side out first. They are getting in trouble though. They see, and that's what happens when you focus on too many different positions. You gotta take on one fight at a time.
He does get a trade right back, but Reckless running back downhill. Yeah, they're worried so much about 4-1-2 right now that they don't feel comfortable pushing over onto Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades, Mumbai, the last one, looking to get some revenge for his team. He catches one, looking the wrong direction. Just because you're in a smoke doesn't mean you're blocked off. Ace of Spades, he does go down, but this is excuse now.
Chronics.
Finally chiming in to get the third party going, and he steals that point away to Reckless last up.
And I don't think he even saw Reckless. He's going to go ahead and just soak up those points all day long. Hop in that buggy, start pushing up little by little. He's just trying to keep it safe. Next zone does go on up, and then it looks like we are going to have a Watertown finish. This is going to be fun. Haven't seen one of these in a hot minute. And you can see the teams outside of Watertown home. These edges are really trying to make the plays here. Chronics does find Reckless.
Man.
And that is going to be Puppeteers out of there. Excuse with 10 eliminations so far. Looking good.
They've been working this west side of the zone. They're going to have free control of the entire west side. This gives them a lot of real estate. They just got to hope it doesn't go into Watertown itself. And Hyper somehow made their way into Watertown. Great rotations as always. MEZEXIS trying to work the northern edge now. MEZEXIS baton is knocked. They just have one player of skills in mind to deal with over here. So hopefully they don't lose baton and they get the revive, especially since, you know, they were my pick for winning this match. We'll see how it goes. And Active throwing down some smokes. They're just trying to find the info right now, Jukes. How many enemy players are here? I think they should be able to tell. There's at least only one, maybe at most 3.
How many is the question? How many mistakes are they going to make? How many right decisions? How many predictions will Jason get right today? Fortunately, missing this one, Puppeteers.
Yeah.
But we know he's going to come back
Oh,
strong
the
for
nade.
next one. Oh, that beautiful nade there from Wasted. Oh, doesn't catch. Free fire.
Oh, the
Gets
double!
the 1v2.
So close.
Oh, that was so close. I thought he had it. Inactive. Shutting him down to the last second. Nice is telling Skyline, come to me. Come to Papa. Get this res off. Let's get into the next battle after that.
Nice, nice. MEZEXIS keeping 4 up, staying 4 strong. Excuse still with 4. 4-1-2, by the way, also had a really good day yesterday. I think we need to mention that because right now
True.
they're set in a position. It's going to be hard, but they could potentially put up big points here this game as well if they keep that momentum from yesterday coming in. Excuse, though, they get one opening knock, and they're looking for more.
Da-da-da! All the way from across the map in the open field. And they are putting in some work against the Nomads, but a 3 points, not going down without a fight. He's got that DBS. Hops in the vehicle.
And the run
oh
over.
My gosh, what a play! The defense from 4-1-2. So huge right there.
That was big.
Wow.
They only lose 1 player. The rest of Excuse sitting in the back trying to, provide cover fire. When it's smoked out, you do a 3-1, if not do a full send. That could have gone so well.
They should have committed the whole team.
Yeah,
Yep.
that could have gone so well for Excuse. I mean, they could have all gotten wiped too, but they made the play. They went for the push. So you got to do a 3-1 at the very least, in my opinion.
Unreal. But that was a great play for 4-1-2. I mean, him hopping in the vehicle to deal with that, that car
stay alive.
defense, and then the other car coming down from his teammate, just absolute insanity. Let's see where this next zone's going to pop on. It's going to pop on dead center of Watertown. We're going to go outside into the edge. Let's see. This is going to be huge. And meanwhile, yeah, 4-1-2 licking their wounds, getting everybody back up. Uh-oh, Koi does go down and Hyper. That's going to be tough. And now Speedfire have their eyes locked on the 4-1-2. Okay, it centers up onto Watertown. It's ending right here.
Get your bathing suits ready, because we are going into the water zone. I don't know if it's going to come down to the final circle. That'll be crazy if it does, because it's so hard to move around here. There's water just slowing down your movement everywhere. Somehow MEZEXIS sniffed out Quinn. I don't think Quinn fired off a shot or anything.
Oh,
So I don't know how MEZEXIS knows he's here.
he's been spotted. He's been spotted. See Quinn just trying to buy himself some time. He's going to throw a smoke right there. That's kind of a tough one because it just gives away your position completely. He's going to go swim underneath the water. A little bit of a swim tape is what we like to call, as he tries to head over to that smoke. I think Baton will spot him out, though, the second he gets on land. So let's see. Let's see. MEZEXIS has so much control of this zone right here.
Yeah.
An excuse. They could have had all 4 players up. They could have had all 4 players up, but they go for a very risky push. I didn't mind it. Just take it out of play. 4-1-2 with a great play there in defense. Now they do make a push on Dan Hyper, and then Hyper shuts him down.
Yeah, and Hyper staying so resilient. Still with only 8 points right now. Looking to pick up some more eliminations. And here comes the push. Excuse going in to Speedfire. Speedfire with 4 players. They get the opening onto Jimmy, though, and Excuse still have 2 up. Cesar trying to land that nade. Is the bank open? It is not. It gets some damage. That's about it. And Speedfire not really reacting too aggressively. There's the knock they needed. Now they should go aggressive. But Chronix finds one. And Excuse just putting so much damage. Speedfire had 4 here. Now they only have 1. Chronix just needs to look for 1 more.
That is how you do it, folks. And on the side of Speedfire, mistakes have been made. No
Zero.
eliminations here.
Disgusting.
What?
And not in a good way.
And not in a good way. Yeah,
Yeah.
you cannot just, we talked about, right? Top teams not giving you 1v1s, right? Working as a team. Chronix had 2 1v1 situations right there. Won them both. And now Speedfire is just completely crippled. Look what they did to get that just single elimination, but that is going to hurt. Meanwhile, in Hyper, somehow always still alive. Always still alive.
Nades.
Even if they only have 2 players up mid-game, they're still at the end game, still annoying teams, and putting crazy points up on the board. 9 eliminations, and they're going to soak up some nice placement points here.
And
We're in a
Hyper,
top 4 situation.
and Hyper just don't die. They just don't die.
Nope.
Remember yesterday where YKG took them down to 2-man, and then they just kept rotating ping pong back and forth on the zone, and ended up in the
Yes.
top 2 or something, top 3. Man, and Hyper so resilient. And by the way, Speedfire had 4, right? That was a 4v2 with them holding the defense against Excuse, who had to crash into that compound on the outer wall. So I don't know how more badly you can mess up than the way Speedfire just did there.
Yeah, you know, it makes me really just go, you know, if Excuse didn't do that push on the 4-1-2, they'd probably have the whole team up right now.
Yeah, free pickings
But
onto Speedfire.
But I'll tell you what, they got 15 eliminations, Zute.
Chronix with
And you
8.
you do not get 15 eliminations by just playing it safe. You know what I'm saying? You got to go and make some plays. So, heck, you know what? Don't knock it unless you try it. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And here comes another nade from Chronix, using all his util right now.
Yeah. Well,
He's using everything he's got to try to make sure he can catch this last player and put another big point on the board. And if he does, it's automatic 3rd place finish at the least. And you can see him
look at
looking
that.
for
Yeah,
some.
just picking up more and
yeah,
more
util.
util. Throw everything.
Throw it all.
Oh, this one might be good. If he throws it right through that window, Cesar is right there. MEZEXIS, by the way, with 4 up. You know,
Chilling.
I'm gonna say they got zone blessed. You know, pretty easy for them to get to this stage with 4 up. But hey, a win's a win if they get it. They should be able to.
Did he spot him? Oh, he did. He's bottom. All right, GG.
Man,
yeah, easy.
Caesar, dude, come on.
Like, that's not the spot.
That is how the whole team essentially played. They just sat
Yeah.
still and just kept sitting still.
If this was FPP, that's okay, right? Because he has to peek his whole head out. But in TPP, that is not the angle. 16 eliminations, though, on the side of Excuse. And that is going to be Chronix out of there. So what a performance. Top 3 finish, 16 eliminations. They're looking good as we watch MEZEXIS take the chicken dinner here in match number 1.
Unless Kindness does something wild here, but no. Oh, that
No
nade
way.
almost took down Baton. Don't go for the thirst. You don't need to. Don't give Koi any openings. And, yeah.
What a shot. What a shot. It's so crazy that, you know, in any other team, we're like, yeah, they're done for. But in Hyper, even with 2 players up, we're still like,
Yeah.
you gotta be careful. MEZEXIS playing that one really well. An active, starting it off strong with a nice little 1v3 situation. And then, you know, they get a very fortunate circle and they maximize that opportunity.
Yeah, they did get zone blessed indeed, but they had a hot drop in the beginning. So it's not like they were given that win completely free. They had to win their hot drop and then play the rest of the circle. Excuse, however, Chronix, my man.
Wow.
1,174 damage, 9 eliminations. That's a great conversion rate from Chronix.
Huge. Huge. I think that if they wouldn't have done that split push onto 4-1-2 NOMADS, it could have been a different end game. But, you know, whoulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to go and make some plays. Maybe they do win that play, and now they have even more eliminations, and it works out even better with that split. But, hey, you know what? To each their own. You got to give a big old clap for that performance.
Yeah, excuse. That was beautiful. That was a beautiful game. I think that's how they should look to play for the rest of today and the rest of the tournament. Like, take that aggression and keep
Yes.
going. Speedfire, however, boy, that was disappointing. Like,
Oh, that's tough.
that was really
That's tough to watch
that
out.
was really bad.
Well, hopefully they can bounce back here soon, guys. We'll go ahead and we'll be right back after these highlights.
I was gonna pick MEZEXIS, I swear, but I had faith in Dong, but Puppeteers could not make it happen, and MEZEXIS able to pull things through. And even you get yourself a nice little prediction point. I think it was you and Zutepa who both had MEZEXIS, and then Hot Jukes had Excuse. But to be fair, all two of your teams did much better than my team.
Yeah, you know, I think it's something of like just experience and having seen those circles over and over again. Me and Zute, you know, we've played that a lot. I feel like every time we get, you know, those kinds of early circles, it so commonly ends in those Watertown endings. And I saw them controlling that north side all alone. They had a really nice split, controlling those so that they wouldn't get flanked from the east as well. And from the west, it's virtually impossible. Where, you know, you got water, you got a bridge, and all that stuff. So they had a clean split. They had an easy entry into Watertown, which is huge as well. And I knew that if it just kept coming towards them, which that, you know, that fifth circle shift did, that like it's gonna be an easy win. You know, they had way too much control. So yeah,
Easy win it was indeed. Let's take a look at the match rankings here and see how much they got for themselves, and of course Excuse as well, considering the 16 eliminations they got. Gave them a lot of extra points, and actually going to be first here on points with only 5 placement points. 21 here for Excuse. That was definitely a standout match for them so far in this event.
yeah, this is a very different game compared to MEZEXIS, right? They were on that south side where everyone was, right? While MEZEXIS had nobody around, everybody was around Excuse. They came in on the edge from the west, and they had really nice aggression. You know, I don't know what. There was a fire was lit under them this game because they took every opportunity they had. They weren't chilling in their spots like sitting AFK. They were pushing that hill. We call it, I don't know, forget what we call it actually. Well, I'm washed. But they had some really nice fights, some really nice third parties, gathering all the elimination points they can, and they could, right? They didn't have too much contention on the west side, so they took advantage of that, and they you know, they gathered up all those points. So I really like to see gameplay like that. If they could have closed out the win, would have been better, but not bad.
You know, one thing I'm not happy about though, uneven.
What?
Speedfire, 5 points, 4 in placements, 1 eliminations. They had a 4-on-2 up against Excuse. They had position again, like we talked about on Miramar yesterday, but they blundered it, man. They didn't really do anything with the position they had or the amount of players they had alive.
Yeah, you know, a 4v2 versus Excuse. I mean, do I need to say it? That should absolutely never happen, especially defending, especially in third person, as you know, the game mode we're playing. There's just legitimately no excuse. They must have had some sort of a poor hold on their buildings, communication problems, timing problems, like too many to list. Utility issues, probably some whiffs in there. You know, everything went wrong for them.
Just throwing everything. Device issue. They were having some emotional issues at the time. Someone walked in the middle of the fight and it distracted them. Yeah, that, like I said, should not happen for them. Hopefully it's something they can learn from. But lastly, YKG, 0 points. Now, I only bring them up because NHyper had, was it like 15 points from that one? 15, 14, 13 points? They are continuing to build their lead up against YKG here for that race to PMGC, and it's getting harder and harder every time YKG have a match like this and NHyper have a match like that for YKG to close that gap. But in the meantime, MEZEXIS, that was in the team who was kind of in the running for our PMGC points, as I believe they were third. They take them the victory here. I'm going to take a look at the player stats. Honestly, Inactive didn't play week 1. I have to question, why didn't he play week 1? Because he has been ridiculous for this team ever since he started playing in phase 2.
Well, you know, sometimes you get that thing where, you know, you're the bench player and you get that opportunity, you feel like you're better than your teammates, you feel like you should have a shot, and then you get that shot and you go as hard as you possibly can, and he's riding that right now. Or, you know, maybe he had some sort of timing conflicts, I'm not sure, but I definitely have been in that spot where, you know, you're the sub waiting for the opportunity. It seems like nobody wants to give you that opportunity, and once you get it, you can't mess up, and he's not messing up.
I mean, like, so him and Baton are like the ones really carrying the teams when it comes to eliminations. Actually, to be fair, Skylining is there as well. He has 11, and you have Inactive at 15 and Baton at 16. But man, Inactive is just giving them like this like third heavy hitter for the roster to allow them to have success like this. And I'm really curious to see if MEZEXIS can keep this pace up.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they are pretty far behind in those PMGC points, but there's a universe, there's a world out there where they explode, and you know, when you're top 3, no matter what, you go for first place. I don't care how many points you're facing. They're in contention. You know, if I'm them, I'm playing for the win. I'm playing as hard as I can.
I'm sorry, I'm just shaking my head. I don't think they can gain 300 more points than Hyper gets
Well.
throughout the rest of this event. That's going to be, I mean, it is possible. It is mathematically possible, but it is damn ridiculous to do so. But regionals, I think, is definitely something they can have their eye on and definitely choose or use that to gain some experience as well here for this team. But there's another team, though. Excuse. Of course, we're going to have to look at them, right? 16 eliminations, player stats. Show me them production. What do we got? Chronix on 9, Matt on 4, Kai on 2, and Rosh on 1. I mean, Chronix was just, honestly, he was feeling himself there, man. He was like in the zone, full gladiator mode.
That's just a huge game from him, right? An interesting thing to point out is he's got 9 eliminations and 4 knockouts, right? Means he's picking up a lot of those thirsts. He doesn't have that 1-to-1 ratio, which means, you know, he's using his vantage points. He's picking up other people's knocks, and you know, that's a really great skill to have. You can amass some huge elimination points in that fashion. So
those
well
third parties you were talking about, right? Like just
Exactly.
cleaning them up and not having to get the knocks himself. And well, we saw quite a few teams have to deal with that. Puppeteers being one of those. And I believe Ace as well. Ace of Spades having to unfortunately meet their demise to them. But a good start. Again, some new teams coming into this. I mean, MEZEXIS isn't new. Excuse isn't technically new. But it's these teams who are like middle to lower pack of the pack that are actually starting to step up here and starting to build up something for them. But I still have to ask, what will we be left with at the end of today? And of course, at the end of tomorrow, but more importantly, day 1 of phase 3. I think that's what we're really going to see, like with the teams having another day off, able to really recoup and figure out what they're doing wrong. Some of them, hopefully more than others, can figure that out. And they can get themselves going back into this. And this is exciting, man. Like, obviously, I think it has its good or bads, right? I think when you have certain teams be able to dominate a region, you always look to them to do so, and Hyper's able to maintain that. But I love seeing like new blood, and I know they're not necessarily new players, but like new teams or newer teams start to dominate the region, because then it really challenges the likes of the tops and pushes the whole skill ceiling higher here for NA.
Yeah, you know, especially with a game like that, where it's just a blowout performance. I mean, 9 eliminations is just, you know, that doesn't really happen a whole lot, right? It's a very rare, like, huge performance from an individual player on a team that's, you know, not really considered a top contender. And you need things like that, right? You need a blowout performances like that to motivate him, have him, you know, practice even harder and boost his team up. And that's how you develop a region, right? So I really love to see some big individual performances. Individuals do, you know, make a big difference.
I was kind of hoping to bait you into talking about your highest elimination match that you had in a tournament, but you didn't say it. Is it in like 11?
It is 11 in Americas on Vikendi. That's why I love it so much. Good
I don't want
times.
to tell you what mine is, because I've never played a competitive environment. I've only played against mostly bots. Let's throw it over to people who aren't bots. Hotrix and Zute. I'm not going to ask you a question this time. Just get us into our next match.
All business today. All business today, Jason is. And you know what? It's time to get to work. It's time to get to work for a lot of these squads. It's Vikendi, the only one that we're going to be playing today, folks. Are we going to have some, you know, some shenanigan water circles? Are we going to go ahead and head it to Castle? I hope to see a Castle finish at least one time, Zute, in this tournament.
You know, we've been getting like almost every other circle that we've been hoping for. I think one that we're missing on Sanhok, right? The Northwestern Circle and the Castle Circle. I feel like we've seen almost every other zone on every map.
You know what? Hopefully we'll see it. Let's see as see some teams popping on out early on the plane. One's gonna be a passion fruit over there by Dobro Mesto. Let's see how they're gonna rotate on into this circle. Hopefully they can put some points on the board, because we did see some signs of life. Look at that. You see headshots. You see the legendary Juancho over there in third place so far.
Yep.
Hopefully we can see some more out of him today.
Yeah, Passionfruit doing better and better and better. We saw in the pre-show the stats. They're what, 4 points or something behind their first week total. So
Correct.
definitely.
Okay.
Oh my God.
All right.
Where's everyone at? Not in the circle, Jigs. I'll tell you that much.
I love to see the second that zone popped, you just start to see those teams that were flying just start to lean a little bit more towards
especially
that
the
zone.
ones. Yeah, especially the ones dropping out of the parachute. They're like, oh, okay, let's go a little bit up more.
Yep.
But yeah, this zone, it's gonna be tough actually, because from west to east, if you take a close look at the circle, it just keeps going more and more uphill. If you can recall back to, back in your Vikendi competitive days, it just keeps going more and more uphill, making it harder and harder to go further into the zone. And there's so many just compounds scattered all across next to the roads too. So that's a big issue for these teams that are going to be coming into the circle later.
Oh my, compounds, hills, boulders, bowls, like so many different places that you could hide. And, with the plane path like this, every single player and team on the map knows that there's nobody in Trevno, right? Nobody in Peshkova. So any team that wants to go ahead and get in a vehicle and just drive that way to that hardship side, they're going to have an entire city to loot for free. So I wonder which squad is going to have that heads-up play to do that sooner rather than later. I know if I was one of these teams like BULUC, CHABTAN, or even Extreme Slayers, that's the move, right? I mean, yeah, looting here is good, but just get moving faster. Find a vehicle, get the whole squad, send it on over there. You're going to have a ton of loot and a good position in this next circle.
I mean, this is the first time we've seen this type of situation come up in a game, right? So I think teams aren't going to really capitalize on it until afterwards they look back on the VOD. It's like, oh, okay, so in this situation, we really could have taken advantage of something like that. I don't think anybody's ready to chase a circle where the first one pops, there's nobody in it, right?
Yeah.
So,
but you have to know.
The other thing is, though, Jukes, bridge camps. There could be bridge camps too, because there's 3 bridges onto that side of the circle, and then the only other path in is like that south side, hard south side wrapping rotation. So there's going to be limited rotations even into the first couple of zones.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, on a drop like this where that plane path is, I mean, I think every team should know, right? I know that we get to see it, but every team here should know that side was free the second they dropped, right? So if they would have popped into a vehicle immediately and drove there, they would have been fine. But yeah, you're right. As time does go on, it gets sketchier and sketchier and sketchier. It does look like Extreme Slayers is starting to make that push. Speedfire getting a jump on it as well. So we are seeing teams start to make that migration in that direction. It's just a good minute later than I would have liked to have seen.
Yeah, well, when the whole lobby's a little bit slower, it's fine to make that rotation. If this exact circle happened with 16 teams at, let's say, PMWI or PMGC, oh boy, yeah, you would see a big difference in rotations.
Yeah, this whole circle would be taken up by like 10 teams already. That's how fast those guys move. It is insane. And meanwhile, speaking of players that move pretty quick, Excuse, right? Popped off in the last game, but they are gonna lose a player.
Popped off.
Yeah, Chronix did pop off, and now he's gonna have to sit.
It's the curse.
It's the curse. I'm telling you, there's something about PMPL NA. You have a good performance, and the next game you're out early. Seems to happen every time. Every time.
Yep. I don't know what it is, but
it hurts.
It's happened so many times. NOMADS popping some shots here.
Very nice.
Getting some damage in, but Jachi will cruise right on by. And Chronix already out. I was hoping, Excuse would try and mimic what they did in game 1 and just keep playing aggressive. Like, yo, that worked out great. Let's keep that mindset.
All right.
Chronix was probably thinking the same thing. Like, man, I had like 9 eliminations, 1,000+ damage. Oh, man. Jaji is just unstoppable. This car. He's going to drive to the moon with it.
And this kid is old school. What is this from, like, season 2,
Yeah.
Yeah, so he is rocking the OG skin right into another play. Oh, actually, it's just his own team.
This is
Yeah. He's good. Imagine, though. Imagine. That would have been hilarious. So, now, yeah, Jachi driving it all the way to safety. Beautifully done from him. And where is this at? Okay, all right. They're going to be in the circle.
Bridge camping.
Yeah, they are bridge camping. So, hopping in the Dodge now.
Oh, you can't leave that car.
You should have left. You should have picked up that car. You're right. I mean, when you are that fortunate and you survive, that's a lucky car right there. You got to keep it going.
It is. It is. Oh, well. Execute, by the way, picking up a point right there, like way earlier against Team Excuse. So Execute is in this match, and good zone for them. Well, actually, they got a lot to work in with. So we see another player go down. Yeah, now teams are really starting to fill in as we're about to head into the second circle shift. BULUC CHABTAN losing one. Another player knocked from BULUC CHABTAN.
Uh-oh.
We're going to see a lot of casualties because, like I said, it's so hard to rotate through here. So many buildings just scattered along the roadway side. So that's exactly where rotations are looking to pass through as well.
Right you are, Zute. You got to keep a close eye on every hill, every, I can't say really blade of grass, but every flake of snow. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep an eye out because there could be a player hiding behind him. I mean, look at Wall Street Bet's position, right? They're just camping this road right now outside of these buildings looking to find some mistakes. You know, okay, they got the intel. Now they're heading back. I love to see that right there. And just trying to buy some time. Teams that still need to rotate into the circle, Zute, and Hyper. And Hyper coming through the south side. LOTUS and MEZEXIS. MEZEXIS is, we're all the way over there by Dino Park. So, I mean, they may have gotten zone blessed in the last game, but not this game. Nice shots.
Excuse. Gets one onto BULUC. BULUC just trying to find something, somewhere to play in right now. They coming out. Alex, that nade flies to Timbuktu. That was just right underneath the building. And is that the last member up for BULUC? It is. Yeah, excuse looking to clean this out. Alex has a DBS though. So
He does.
Do something.
Can Alex get it done, or will he channel his inner speed fire? Let's see. Let's see. He's waiting. Looking for some angles. Excuse ain't gonna let this go though. They are gonna finish this off sooner rather than later. They want this elimination point. Alex does have some angles to work with here. He has a nade locked and loaded. They heard the pin pull, but it's not going to be able to catch anything. So poor Alex just going to try to buy some more time. And excuse a little bit nervous to push this. And honestly, it's a thing, right? Especially with the DBS being available these days. You never know. Someone can make a crazy shot.
Yep.
But here they come.
They've worked this really well. They forced him further and further and further back. Alex is having less and less to play with. And yeah, they're pre-firing every corner, every angle they could take without having to just run straight in.
Wow.
And that pretty much forces Alex into a corner that they could kind of guess when they peek through. And look, just like that, through the smoke, they cleared like all the corners, and they could just tell. They know he's back here. There's nowhere other place he could be. So excuse losing Chronics early, but looking pretty clean still.
That was beautifully played. I mean, I don't think you can ask for a better one. I mean, they smoked it out, and what do? You know he's got to be in one corner somewhere sitting, right? So just pre-fire every single one, and you'll find him. And that's exactly what they did. So it's beautiful heads-up play. You're not risking, you know, that DBS just tearing through your team. So beautifully done. Love to see them maximize those points. Next zone, about to pop on over. We got 28 seconds left on the clock, so you can see that planning phase coming into play. And Hyper, this is all the way on the south side of the circle because they rotated in super late. So now we're seeing an edge playing in Hyper. Look at that zone. You can see them all the way there on the bottom.
Yep.
As we take a look at the live rankings, and oh my goodness, look at that lead, Zoo.
It's just growing bigger every game. Every game. I don't think there's a team that's really closing that gap. Because in Hyper, I think they had like 1 0-point game this whole week so far.
Wow.
If not only like a 2-point game. Next circle does shift, and it just closes a little bit more on the mainland. You can see there's a huge opening on the west side, but these teams don't know that. And look, every team decided to take that south wrapping rotation because no one wanted to come in from the west across the bridges.
Right.
Now we have so many teams on that south side. It's going to be so tough for them to rotate. Mainly looking at in Hyper because they are on that south side on the far, far edge.
You know, that's probably one of my favorite things to watch compared to PUBG Mobile was the paranoia. You know, these IGLs start thinking very similar, and then sometimes you'll have a zone or a place in the map that's center zone that's not taken yet, and nobody will take it because everybody thinks it's taken already, you know? Until you have one team that just finally decides to dip their toes and be like, oh, let's risk it, let's full push, and then it's empty. They're like, what? This is empty the whole time?
Goose and in Hyper, 2 big teams. Excuse feeling really good after game number 1. Let's see if they can take down the Titans here. And Hyper rotating in. And notice how in Hyper, they're just fighting their way in. They could easily try and keep wrapping around, but they know that's kind of, you know, a blind rotation.
The
They're gonna
feed.
take their fight.
BOPE taking down the crazy shots up from Rin, though, and from NHyper, putting that pressure onto Excuse, and now they know it's NHyper. So I wonder how Excuse is going to play this with 2 players up, especially realizing that now they're going up against the best team right now in the lobby.
Yeah, 2v4
Chico mullied
situation.
himself? What is happening over there?
Some BOPE teammated too, by the way, the elimination feed. So it's all sorts of craziness happening on that northern side. But right now, we want to pay close attention to NHyper, the champions the champions in the lobby right now. Most amount of points against Excuse, who just came off a very strong game. And look at the way NHyper are clearing every little thing out.
Very carefully. They are playing this so slowly right now. Not looking to make a single mistake. Kai with a little bit of a low toss smoke there. Just trying to buy some time. That was a low toss nade as well. And let's see how they decide to play it. Because, I mean, this is Excuse, right? Excuse had a crazy amount of eliminations this last match. So they're very warmed up, very ready to go. You don't want to get caught slipping. So I like the fact that NHyper are taking their time here. And this is so edge that their chance of a third party is pretty risky right here. So I think they're allowed to take their time. You can see Rin looking to try to find some angles and parkour his way up. And Matt comes on in, catches Rin. And you can just see him turning in every direction saying, no, please, no, as he is eliminated. So they get the points, but they lose one in the process.
Yeah, Rin thought he was being sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
Rin thought he was being sneaky, but Excuse still paying attention to all the details, the sound cues. NHyper does lose one player. Next zone did shift even further north. I think it was a hard shift north. The white is literally touching the blue from the previous circle. So everybody on the south, once again, has to keep going north.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, it looks like we got a Trevno finish, possibly. YKG, the only team right now there. It's just 24K all by himself. BOPE, meanwhile, dead center. And I think BOPE seems to be like YKG's kryptonite.
Yeah, we've seen it a few times. A few times where BOPE are the ones to take out YKG. So we'll see how BOPE does with only 3. The nade, second floor. No one's home, though. Everyone's on the first floor here. And NHyper does
that one looks good. That one looks
that's
real
gonna hurt.
good. Oh,
Yep.
that hurt.
And
Koi's in trouble.
HP.
Does a great job, though. Nice shot, though, on a baton.
Yeah, I think that was kindness. That was kindness. Just really pre-fire.
Wow.
Oh, the DDS through the smoke. I thought it was Nerf.
Nope.
Look at where he's standing. He's just watching his teammate. Like, I can't do anything for you, buddy. I can't do anything for you.
He jumped down. Oh, he caught him on the res. Oh, but gets shot in the back. Nice heads up play from MEZEXIS, though, right? To be able to cover that instantly, that was huge. He does a pretty rough Molotov. Kindness not able to thread that needle that time, but he is Kindness. He's out here playing. Oh, the tightest of peaks. But getting punished. And that is NHyper out of there. Very fortunate for YKG, for NHyper to get stopped here, especially after them losing so many members to BOPE early on.
But NHyper already have picked up 4 points, and YKG, well, they only have 1 player with 1 point. I don't even know if YKG could get more points than NHyper this match, because we know placement points are really hard to come by now.
True. But you know what? That at least minimized the damage. You know what I'm saying? Instead of it being a 20, 30-point game from NHyper, 4 is going to be still good. Still good, because, I mean, it's crazy that even when they have a bad game, they still put up some solid points.
And that was NHyper working in from their edge, fighting their way in. So they could do a little bit better, but that's not their game plan, right? That's not their forte. It just so happened with this zone. That's what they had to do. And next time we have a circle like this, you know what you were saying earlier, Jukes? You want to see a team just start rotating immediately? I think NHyper, they're going to adapt to that and be that team.
Uh-oh, and speaking of rotating immediately, MEZEXIS trying to get out of here, but Extreme Slayers are just going to say, no, sir. Here comes Brady with a beautiful nade. And the pre-fire. That is how you do it right there, folks. Extreme Slayers taking advantage. Inactive. Hey, pretty rock-solid start for Inactive. I will say that, right? I think he has been doing pretty well, unfortunately, just getting caught off guard there. Extreme Slayers taking advantage of that situation. And this is 5 eliminations, and some monsters in the lobby are gone. So who knows? This could be Extreme Slayers' time to shine here.
Yeah, Extreme Slayers, they could close that gap within Hyper on the leaderboards. 5 points already. 4 players still up. We'll see how well they do. Execute coming in, really committing all 4 players to
Tiny Shack.
the Tiny Shack.
Tiny Shack.
When desperate measures
Hey,
must be employed.
that's how you do it, especially if you're a player like Tensa, one of the only esports players in North America with a voice pack in the game, right? Tons of global experience, like crazy. You know, if you execute, sometimes Shack's the play, baby, and it's looking like it's working so far, but Extreme Slayer saying, we ain't going for no Shack, baby, we're going for some runovers. Look at that. Getting some more points on the board. And the question is, which team's going to have the most eliminations right now, Zute? And with how aggressive we're seeing Extreme Slayers, I'm going to have to go with them.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. Extreme Slayers looking really good. Still with 4 alive. Oh, well, you going down.
That's 2
of them.
knocks. Oh, what have we done?
Don't get the reset.
Yeah, look at
Don't
the
worry.
reset. They're good. They're big chilling. Meanwhile, Jat G. Dude, Jat G is a monster. I think Jat G has just been waiting for that perfect synergy on a squad for so long. Because, I mean, he has the skills to pay the bills. And hopefully we can see Wall Street Bets pop up. That was one team prior to this tournament. I thought that was going to do a little bit better. I think they took a little too long to put Slimmy in the roster. But let's see how they're going to finish this way, because they're going up against Speedfire. All right? Speedfire. Now's the time to...
Do they
make
have
something
4 up
happen.
again? Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
please. Don't
You
lose
got-
another 4v2.
Do not lose another 4v2.
Please put up more than 1 elimination point. You have 4 up this late in the game. You have
Here we
to be able
go.
to get more than 1.
Here we go. Blow it up. Blow that vehicle up. Blow it up, baby. That's what I'm talking about. And here they go. Extreme Slayers on the back foot remix. Saying, see ya. Goodbye. Speed, fire.
Where's the other player? What's the other player doing? Guess what he's doing? Jukes.
He's holding angles. Oh, here comes Execute. Here comes Execute.
Wait, no. Trick and Fate jumped out. The other 2 players kept going.
What? Why? Brady in the mix now. Looking to hold some ankles.
We need a replay on that.
Fate here, baby. Here, looking to make some plays, looking to get it done all by himself. Said, hey, I got it, guys. Don't worry. Y'all head on in. Didn't work out. Didn't work out, but he's still alive. He's going to go for this res on the Trick.
I need a second to digest what just happened, Jukes. As a caster,
The
I know
plays.
it's my job
The
to call
plays.
things out as it's happening, but give
plays.
me a second, Jukes. So the other 2 members that...
Oh, the camping worked. Revel putting up another point.
Oh,
That-
1
and
point? What, Speedfire
200%. Yeah, that's a 100% increase on what they did in the last game so far. So far, so good. Let's see.
Oh, they had to, yeah. Okay, nice.
Nice. Looking for the
1v2?
nade. 1v2. Arevalo wins these against Execute.
He's got to move around. Yeah, he can't just sit still.
Yeah, don't hold that. Don't just sit in the corner. That's not gonna work.
Oh.
Smoking out the Zimas while they're in a building. Beautifully done.
Fate wants his own car. I respect it.
I love it. And he's gone. Wow.
Can they make it in, though?
Right? A blind rotation.
Oh, let's follow this one in.
Dead center.
Nope.
Trick
Nope.
on fire. We haven't seen it work so far this tournament, but you know what? It could. You never know. And Arevalo is going to go out to the Nomads.
Execute's still alive.
Still alive. They actually made it.
Trick is alive. Where is Trick at?
Unbelievable. He's there. He's right there. He's sitting down on the left side of your screen.
Dang.
He found a
okay.
nice rock. He's holding it down. Meanwhile, here comes Passion Fruit, taking out BOPE. And
4
watch-
players up.
Wow, good looking good so far. Meanwhile, Ace of Spades getting into it with the Nomads. I mean, this is just all out mayhem here in Vikendi.
Yes.
Oh, gun paint's on fire.
I love it. Give us more. This is the most fun Vikendi circle I've ever seen yet. Trick's still alive.
Ooh.
That's 1 team out. Ace of Spades.
Kiddo.
Full send. Kiddo. There's Trick.
Trick,
What's
look
Trick
around.
doing?
Behind you.
I'll take this spot too. Hops in the car. That's smart. That's smart. He's like, damn, there's no cover out here. I may as well go in this car. And Trick, oh, that nade. Oh, bounces to the wrong side. Kiddo did get the heal off. He could push in now.
They're both
Kiddo's
inside. They're both in the zone. I think they're big chilling. I think Kiddo's just gonna hold in the Tesla.
You can see Trick through
He-
that window.
He can, and I think he's fine with it. And Trick has nothing. He has no more
nades.
nades. Oh, it's
Nothing left.
brutal.
They should both chill here.
Yeah, they should. Honestly, if you're Trick, you want Kiddo outside, right? You want
Yeah.
him to be a teammate and to kind of like just fight a squad if they go on in. So yeah, Trick, Kiddo, you know, temporary neighbors, sign the lease. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pay your rent.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, once the final zone comes down to it, then you break that lease. You know what I'm saying? And you just make some plays. So far, so good. Look at that. Kiddo and Trick, what do you think they're talking about? I mean, obviously they can't talk to each other at the game, but if they could, what do you think they would be saying?
They're just like,
Look, you can
fancy
see 'em,
meeting
dude.
you here.
TBB, you can see them.
It's just like, how'd you get here? Oh, you don't even want to know.
You don't even want to know, baby.
You don't even want to know how I got here.
You better watch out for them nades. Uh-oh, Kiddo got tapped. Trick's like, are you okay, buddy? Are you okay? Kiddo's
Imagine
like, I'm
Trick.
fine, man.
Imagine Trick telling story time. And Kiddo was like, okay, well, first we were in one car.
Yeah.
Then two of us jumped out. The other two kept going. I don't know what was
Yeah.
happening.
And then
And
both
then we
Zimas
stole
were...
some cars.
Yeah.
And now I'm here. I don't know.
We had both Zimas inside of a building that was secure. We smoked it out, bro. You know, we hopped in, we got out, full sent it.
Oh, no,
Kiddo!
Oh, man.
Trick crying right now, losing his buddy like that. That has gotta hurt.
Yeah, well, that's an extra placement position, though. So Trick just needs to survive a little bit more for that placement points. Passionfruit with 3. They lost 1. They're on the edge. And everyone's allergic to Trick right now. Look at that. No one
Dude.
wants to move up because there's no cover besides Trick's one little shack right there.
Man, that could have been like the start of like a 90s movie, right? Trick just with the dialogue just saying, so I bet you're wondering how I got here. You know what I'm saying? Oh, beautiful. Meanwhile, let's see Lotus Esports coming on down to K19 in FPP.
He's hopping.
He's got the Uzi, the hops.
Oh,
Gets one.
Uzi, DPS. Too good.
Oh, look, it's so good. I mean, meanwhile, Toquito saying, no, sir. Gotta go for a res here. Actually, I don't think he can. Yeah, with this blue zone coming in so hot, it just might stop right on them. It does, so they have a little bit of cover. But they're still wide open to so many players. Passionfruit taking advantage.
Yep. Oh, Toquito trying to do what he can. Oh,
no,
the shots.
he goes down. Nice.
That's the grenade by
nice
Lotus,
nade there
yeah.
from Onder. He's gonna
Go
eat some
Onder.
blue zone. He eats a blue zone for the angle. It gets the point.
I like that. I like that. The blue zone is good. It hurts them, but it gives them the angle to work with. And look at that. Nate's like, where those shots come from?
Yo, Trick win this game, please.
Oh,
Trick,
yeah. Trick can win this game.
Please
What are we down
win
to?
this game, please. I mean, it's getting pretty
1v2v2?
close right here. Yeah, there's only 5
Wait,
players remaining.
24K is still alive.
Yes, he is. All the
From
way over there from
YKG.
YKG. 24K.
Say what?
Let's go, baby.
Okay.
He's been by himself half the game. Or more than half the game.
No, more than 90% of the game.
That's right.
80 to 90%, I think.
And he's going to get this point right here. Onder is done for, right? So that's, like, once this next zone pops, he's done for. He knows it, yeah. And there he goes down. He actually tried to jump out. Trick takes the point. Trick has the angles.
Oh,
my gosh.
24K
And
shooting.
they're looking the other direction. Trick, shoot the shots. Take it.
Take the shots.
He
There's
gets,
one.
He loses
No.
and it gets Nate. Oh, Nate. Shutting him down. Too much patience right there. That has got to hurt. It is so close. But now it is just 24K. He gets Nate.
He gets Nate.
1v1.
It's your boy. It's your boy Juancho. Does he win these?
Oh,
Tell me, Jukes.
Juancho wins these all day long. There's no way he can go down. The blue zone is going to hurt him. It's going to hit him first. Juancho, you got to hit the pre-fires, buddy. You got to run. No,
he hit the
nade! Juancho!
What an arm!
With the nade! He said, how much you want to bet I can throw a nade over the mountains, baby? And gets it done for Passionfruit.
The nade master. He soared that thing right across the sky. If we could get a recap of that. Follow the nade in. The chicken dinner nade.
Oh.
Passionfruit. All right. Huge game. That was a great game to behold, Juice. That was a great game to behold.
Juancho with the step back 3, dude. Oh, that was so disgusting. Absolutely laced it right there. 24K. Gotta give him props, right, for surviving that long and putting some good points on the board for YKG in a game where in Hyper went out pretty early. I mean, we thought that they weren't even going to get close to the amount of points they did. So, I mean, for YKG to do that, that was sick, and awesome of Juancho to be able to clutch that up, Zoo.
Yeah, and man, say less. I'm ready to go to the highlights because I want to watch some of those highlights back. That whole entire game was a highlight reel, in my opinion, Shoot. So don't go anywhere, guys. Stay tuned for these highlights, and we'll be back with the desk.
That had to have been probably one of the most entertaining matches on Vikendi I feel like we've ever seen. Probably one of the most entertaining matches we've had happen so far in this season. Uneven. It had everything, man. It had drama. It had solos. It had drive-bys that were meant to be drive-bys, but ended up being two players not driving by. I don't know what else to say, man.
You know, I don't know about ever seen, right? I do recall a game where a certain player got 11 kills. It was crazy. He wiped loops and everything. But, yeah, it was pretty good. This is a close second, right? I don't know what was going on with Execute. I mean, they had all that time. They just wanted to, you know, put on a show and just jump out of moving vehicles and keep driving. And then, you know, I struggled to understand what they were thinking about, but it looked cool. So,
okay,
I like it.
Well, we do actually have a replay of it, and I feel like this would be probably the perfect time to take a look at whatever you want to call miscommunication, trackmania. I don't know what you want to look at, but this was probably, I don't even know what to say actually about it. I was gonna call it smart, and then I was gonna be like, no, that wasn't smart. But then I was gonna call it miscommunication, but like, I don't know how you can miscommunicate that badly. I don't know. Let's take a look.
It seemed pretty intentional, right? Where are we at this point here? Like, has the drive-by already occurred, or?
I don't know. This definitely is.
Yeah. This is after the reset, right? So basically, you know, we got two players here who had all the time in the world to slow down and take their pace, and take their time, and you know, have their teammates support. But for some reason, they decided that it was the best call to like kind of just keep driving. The two players that remained in the car, it seemed like they wanted to fight, they wanted to crash. And then two of them had that in their mind, right? They pressed the exit button, and then the other two didn't, and then didn't even, you know, want to turn their vehicles around after they realized that their teammates, or maybe they didn't realize that the teammates had jumped out. You know what?
Well,
there's too many questions.
You know what? We don't get to see it again, but you guys who are watching on the YouTube stream, luckily for you, you can just click back and go watch it again. And please do, because that was entertaining as hell. But Execute, you know, Trick, he survived. He got later on into the zone. But another player who survived much longer than he probably should have, well, Uneven will have something to say about this. 24K from YKG. So YKG fight BOPE again after having what was like almost a 1v4 yesterday. They lose 3 players. 24K goes off by himself. But now, lay of the ground. How did he get to this position, and why was he able to stay alive so long?
All right, well, this is another little tidbit of knowledge, and I don't know if the pros are going to watch this, but, you know, if you do a little bit of VOD review, you'll reach the same conclusions, right? We kept seeing repetitive hard shifts to the north over and over and over again, and especially in a map like Vikendi that is so centered focused, you know that after 2 or 3 hard shifts in a row, that north side is just going to be crystal clear. There's going to be nobody, right? And YKG, I don't know if they thought about this or what, but 24K, the last solo, he was like, all right, we need to get away from all the action in the center. I want to survive as long as possible. Let me go to the edge. Let me go where nobody is. And he goes north. And that's, you know, that's exactly what you want to do. That's what you could have done with your entire team, you know. As I was telling you, Vikendi is, there's so many compounds, there's so much third party, so many people condensed together at the center of the map like we saw, that like, you know, if you can take that nice, clean, empty side and control a lot of ground and have some nice easy rotations, do it. You don't always need to force elimination points. Those will pick up as you get into the late games more and more. So if they knew that the north side was clear and they decided not to, I think that's a mistake. But I think more likely they didn't know that, and as a solo 24K kind of just went off and looked for a compound and reached the right conclusion with the wrong equation.
Finish. Yeah. Well, you know what? I feel bad for all the viewers at home because I'm sitting here getting to talk to Neve and learn a lot about the game and how to make myself play better. But PASSIONFRUIT, they do take the victory. Wancho with a fantastic day coming through. We have a little bit of time for the next match, so why don't we actually take a look at an interview that HotJukes, I'm assuming, did with PASSIONFRUIT.
Next one is, could you tell your fans your lineup this year, and which player is playing which position? Just kind of give a little bit of a deep dive on PASSIONFRUIT.
You have me, Sixless, the IGL. You have Zuko. He's just our guy that shoots people. We tell him go wherever. He just kills the entire squad for us. Juancho, he usually just sits back and sits in the passenger seat of the car, waiting for someone to drive him around. BULUC, he overwatches from about 500 meters away, providing a lot of value from 500 meters. Just very, very overall good player.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Next one is, do you ever feel burned out during your time in the professional stage, and what sacrifices did you make in your daily life to become a good esports player?
Yeah, I definitely feel burned out. It's usually like halfway through game one of scrims. I'm like, yo, I need to get off. These teams are too easy for me. It's just too free. I drop like 15 kills per scrim game actually. So it's still like 60 plus kills. Yeah, that's when I get burned out. It's just because it's too free for me,
I got you. Too free. And speaking of too free, okay, you were always known as the one of the best snake players in North America, right? That last player to survive and get those placement points. With this new point system, though, it really strays away, right, from that placement point era. It's all about those eliminations now, right? How do you feel that has changed before your time in the past?
Oh, well, I definitely adapt very well. So like recently, since coming back to the point change system, we've started playing more aggressive. I don't ever snake really anymore. I'm always like, frontline fighting, pushing with like DBS because it's the meta now for shotgun, nerf it please. Yeah, but so you just W key people, just go for kills. And you can go out 17th place or 16th place with 8 kills and it's, worth basically a win.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, indeed. Last but not least, would you like to say anything to the fans out there cheering you on?
PASSIONFRUIT.
That's it with Sixes. Thank you so much, man. Can't wait to see what you do on the main stage, brother.
Thank you.
Woo! From the front lines to viewer partying, baby. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's how you do it, Sixless. Meanwhile, you got Juancho riding in the back of cars. But you know what? The whole time, he's just warming up that arm, baby. You know what I'm saying? He's warming up that arm, getting ready to lace those nades and get that chicken dinner beautifully done for them. It was cool to be able to talk to Six once again here, Zoo.
Yeah, I mean, Six was saying 15 eliminations per scrim match.
Wow.
I don't know. Maybe scrims are a little bit different than the actual tournament. I'll tell you what, they really are. And it's not just him. I remember when I was at PMGC with Execute, we got like first, second, and third in the scrim matches. What happened in the actual tournament? Couldn't even qualify to the next stage. So scrims, man, you just can't judge anything based off scrims these days. But we know what we can judge. It's this match going on right now, the actual PMPL tournament matches as we head into Erangel HotJukes.
Hey, you gotta play the scrims to get the elims, baby. Like, you know what? Here we go. Let's get this one started. We're headed back into Erangel. Man, I'll tell you what. Vikendi's become one of my favorite maps to watch. Because that map was so sick. I mean, Jason said it perfect. It had everything. It had everything. It had all the storylines and all the crazy plays, crazy drive-bys. And, for those of you guys in the chat that are, watching this, criticizing Execute for, some, tough decision-making. that's them on Vikendi. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
That's what they do on Vikendi. Okay?
That's the play.
That's the play. That's the play. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're like, hey, we're falling off this cliff. Okay? We're gonna leave one player to make a 1v1. So when it comes to Vikendi, you think it's a curse for Execute, or is it a blessing? What do you think?
In that play in specific, in regards to that, oh, hold on.
Joey,
Speedfire.
Arevalo, jump in.
It's always
Da-da.
Speedfire, man.
Da-da.
They get caught out. He's got the tree now.
He does have the tree. The tree is powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, did Joey have a? Does he have a name? Oh, Revelash shit. He almost gets.
They're gonna
lucky
2v1
again.
it. Oh, someone's got
no
a
way.
pistol,
They're trying to
though.
jump up there, and there's no way that they're battling him out right there. Oh, it's a jet. Takes him down with a machete.
Dang.
That hurts. That
And they're gone.
has gotta hurt.
Oh, man. Insult to injury. Speedfire's already been having rough games.
Rough.
Yeah. Anyways, back to that Vikendi match, right? Where Execute, like, 2 of them hopped out of the moving car and stuff. I don't know about you, Jukes, but I've actually done that before in matches where our team is, like, driving really fast by a compound, and we like ramp a small little cliffside, right? So we get air, we get momentum, and my brain's thinking like, we're not clearing this, we're crashing right in. Get ready, hit that exit button, and guns blazing, right? So as they're going through the air, that's probably what 2 of them thought. It's like, oh, we're not clearing this. Exit button immediately, guns ready, and then the other 2 are just like,
What are you
well,
doing?
see ya.
And he's gone.
It happens, just very rarely, but they made it work. Execute kind of, if they didn't hop out the car, they would have all, got eliminated. Because the other 2 that kept driving, they were done. They were gone. I don't know where they went, but they weren't alive anymore.
So, yeah, interesting play there from Execute. It does happen. I mean, the miscommunications happen, and especially dire times where, the play's either one or the other. So it's crazy to see them do that here. But you know what? Now it's Erangel. It's time to shake all that off. You know what I'm saying? It's time to shake all that off. Let's see the Execute that we've been all hoping and waiting to see, and making beautiful decisions together. Not doing too much, just going back to basics and just making them plays. I think that's all Execute has to do is just get out of their own way.
Yeah, back to the basics. Execute with that North George pull drop that we see so often. This zone, by the way, it's pretty much just dead center of the circle. This is probably one of the more just standard circles in Erangel. We have Gaka included, east side of Pachinki included. Could quite literally go anywhere. And taking a look at the map, Jukes, not seeing anything else too interesting. I don't know. Do you see anything?
Nothing too that's standing out to me just yet. I mean, we are seeing a little bit of congestion over there in the Roslake area, but that is to be expected. So nothing too out of the ordinary. Canadian Eagles doing a split right now. That's kind of a little bit odd, between Lepovka and Kameshki. Quinn all the way up there at Kameshki by himself.
I see that now.
So that's a little, a little different. You know what I'm saying?
There's just not enough room in Lepovka for 4 people to loot.
That's
So
true.
he's
That's
just
true.
gonna go to Kameshki.
He said,
on the
I'll
other
leave
side.
Kameshki by myself. We'll be good to go, baby. Yeah, you can see them right here. Over here in Lippy. This is where they got into it with MEZEXIS, right? In game 1.
Yeah, and MEZEXIS had a huge game 1. They're not in this lobby though this time around. So Canadian Eagles, they're
Chilling.
safe. They're chilling.
How are they going to get into this next zone? Where are they going to go? That's the question. Because pretty much a lot of the big checkpoints have been taken. There are definitely some spots still available for sure. The zone is pretty big. But as far as
it's one of those circles where I don't think we're gonna see any real rotations, right? Because it's just like the power positions are spread so far across the map. Like there's a good one all the way in the east side, good one all the way in the west, south, north, wherever you want to name it. Where it's like, let's just wait and see the second circle, and then we'll really know which power position might actually help us in the next few zones. If you go now, it could go anywhere, and you're just like, may as well take some time to loot up a little bit, You know, get some more of that that level 2 vest, more first aids, grenades, smokes, you name it, Jukes. And honestly, looking at the minimap, you guys can't see it, but there's like one team moving right now, and that's K19. Everyone else is still just chilling and waiting, and can't blame them.
Yeah, everyone's just good. This is the calm before the storm. I think there was so much heat in Vikendi that teams are like, okay, let's slow it down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Let's just slow it down just a little bit. Let's take our time here in Erangel. Let's get some good points on the board and then go from there. So not surprised to see this being the play. You know what? I do have a question for you, Sute. Uh-oh, as we watch Casper.
Oh, runovers, grenades, execute, ace.
What is going on?
Trick with the confirmation.
This is
That's
all the
up.
way by North George.
Yeah, in the northwest.
Near Zarky.
Outside of zone. They're outside of where they loot. So, not sure how this predicament happened. It looked like they were trying to chase each other down. Execute with 2 members knocked, but it is a 2v2. Oh, another player goes down. Now it's a 2v1. Tense up. He wins these. Should be easy. Oh, the quick bait and switch.
Wow.
Okay, I like it.
And yeah, okay, there's a teamwork right there. Beautifully done. They're going to pick up that point, get these reses off as well. Casper not able to make it in that buggy, and Tensi said, "You're too late, buddy. I'm out of here." So you got your own. You got your own buggy.
Where's the other aces? I thought those two were the last 2 ace of spades players, but there's more. I think the other player is still in George Pool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, way over there. So split up. So by himself. Oh, he did take some shots. Those were angry shots right there, Zute. If I've ever seen them, that's exactly what they are.
I don't know how that all happened. That might have been a set plan from Execute, because they start off deep in George Pool, looting. And if they were to rotate, they go east, they go south, towards the center of zone, right? They went outside of the circle, and that's definitely not because they needed more loot. I think they needed elimination points, and that's what they found.
Beautifully done. Okay, Execute. All right, pulling out some bait plays, you know what I'm saying? Some camping, some rotations, vehicle rotations. Let's go. So I think they realized that, hey, you know what? Maybe they had that one in the playbook, and after that last game, they're like, okay, we gotta pull out some
on
plays.
fire right now.
Yeah, we gotta make some decisions. Let's go.
Let's call all the plays. We can do it all now. Next circle. Oh, the giant hilltops of Pachinki coming into full effect here, and of course, Pachinki itself is going to be a consideration for some of these teams now. This is going to be a hectic one.
This is going to get interesting. Look at that. You can already see all the teams heading to that central area, that Pachinki Hill being taken up pretty quickly here. This is going to be a fun circle. Meanwhile, you still got teams like Execute way far away from the zone, so they're going to have to creep their way through, maybe through the Everest side here. As we see YKG on the rotation. Man, 24K. Clutching up some nice points for his team there in the last game. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, a lot of placement points. That nade, though, just, unfortunate for 24K. Juancho, too good with this.
Too good. He don't lose those, I'm telling you. He does not lose those. Man is an absolute monster.
Oh, Juancho,
yep. Yeah, you know what?
Knock.
Speak of the man, and he will appear. And PASSIONFRUIT putting in some work right now against Wall Street Bets.
No, that's K19.
I'm sorry, K19. I was looking at Wall Street Bets on the map. That's right, K19 getting demolished right there. Nice. Here comes HH.
It's HH last alive.
I thought he was coming in this direction. Instead, going in the opposite way. K19 just getting ripped apart there. That's got to hurt.
So you either lose HH first and win the fight.
Correct.
Or if HH stays alive, the rest of the team is gone.
Ouch.
That's what I've deducted so far. K19 just having such a rough week, 2 weeks even. I think there was like one day K19 started showing signs of life, so we were really kind of focused on them. Like HH is back. You know, this player had huge potential, did really well when he's playing. And then after that one game or day, they just fell off. Never able to really show a comeback.
Yeah, not able to have that same success. That's been tough. You know, we definitely know that roster is solid. HH with so much experience in this game. Just the synergy seeming to lack, and the decision-making being a little bit behind the 8 ball. So hopefully they can, you know, grow as this tournament goes on. That's something that we are hoping to see. Meanwhile, Canadian Eagles, right? Canadian Eagles had a great day yesterday. They started off this one
pretty rough. So they're looking to continue that streak. It's definitely a big bump in the road, though, for them. How are they going to cross it, though, right? How are they going to be able to bounce back once again and really regain that consistency? All it takes is a good game here. You can see them playing this very carefully. They're keeping those vehicles extra safe as they're creeping up onto Passionfruit. Next up about the pop. Where we going, Zoo?
To Pachinki. Let's see it. And, to a little bit west of Pachinki. Pachinki's still in, but yeah, okay, this hilltop, it's coming into play. And, of course, right on the low ground of those hilltops, such strong compounds. You still have a few options to pick from, so we'll see which teams take what. Passionfruit, by the way, man, their momentum meter is off the charts. They were doing well yesterday, like the whole week. They've just been doing better and better, but then they get that huge chicken on Vikendi, and now they're starting off strong now with 3 eliminations onto K19.
Yes.
Man, I want to see more of this Passionfruit.
Me too. I want to just see them continue to grow here. That's what PMPL is all about, just getting better and better and better.
Butterfly effect coming through here on the rotation. Passionfruit. Juancho's feeling it. Juancho's taking shots at everyone. Juancho's like, I can hit these now.
He's like, I hit those nades, I can hit these shots. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. It's like all it takes is a good game to get your confidence up, and then you just start getting into the zone right now. And I think that is something we're definitely seeing as we see a big crash. SLR, Wall Street Bets getting shut down. Nice defense there from SLR.
Yeah, SLR. All I heard were shots for a solid 5-6 seconds there, and SLR win that one out. Only one player locked, oh, maybe. Okay, yep. Change your angle. There's sightlines into these windows from 360 all around. High ground, across the ways, you have another compound looking your way. Yeah, this compound's not really great for...
Meanwhile, let's see
hope
how...
you get a few more circles and a few crashes.
Sometimes that's what you got to do, right? If you get those zones in that spot, you're good. But if it doesn't go there, it's really hard to leave because there's just sight lines from every single angle, and your vehicles are most likely going to get destroyed.
Yeah,
and you're just going to be stuck. So yeah, it's not a compound we see a lot of teams take too often unless just absolutely necessary. You're betting that the zone goes here, pretty much.
Yeah. And, well, they pick up 3 points already, so that's great for them. Execute. One of them knocked. Skills of Mine finding Casper. Casper in the back line's getting third party up on that north side, so Execute just trapped in a sandwich between Excuse and Skills of Mine. Casper naded, finished, exploded. Execute down to 3 now. And they're split up. Fate, I think, is on the high ground. And Fate gets knocked by Excuse.
Uh-oh.
Now it's all down to 10-son Trick.
Execute, right? Starting off so strong with Casper with 3 eliminations. And now he is gone, done, and dusted. Just the final 2 remaining players here going up against Excuse. Back up against the wall. Trick has to make a play.
As you were commentating that, Passionfruit took down 2 or 3 players of YKG.
And look,
Passionfruit, by the way, took down 2 or 3 players of YKG down in the southwest.
Crazy. Passionfruit is turning it up. And Canadian Eagles, this is a beautiful angle for them to hold this ridge line here. They're going to have so many sight lines on this fight. And they're just looking to pick up some big points.
They have circle priority, too. When the blue zone closes, they could be the last to leave. The other teams are going to have to start cooking in the blue if they don't want to take this fight. The nades are coming in here. Excuse find themselves really caught in a tough position, and Execute, of course, even in a worse position. Trick goes down. Excuse should make that push over now.
You better watch out, though, because Canadian Eagles are watching this. I'm surprised that Baby
they
take
just
those
ran
shots.
over for free.
How did they run over? How did they even cross? I didn't see those smokes out or nothing. But maybe they just caught him slipping. Tensa with a nice shotgun there. Got that S12K. Looking to heal up. Oh, Matt with the angles. Looking real good. Down goes Tensa. And that's Execute out of there.
The players are so good at just free-firing through smokes into corners and angles now. You just can't rely on smokes to think you're safe. Matt gets caught on the molly. He's on fire. Goes out. Canadian Eagles, nicely timed third party. Now they gotta evacuate the area as the blue zone is coming in. They are taking a little bit of damage here, but I like how Canadian Eagles played that. They had one player further back to get some forward scouting, some forward info, and he's in a great spot to provide some cover as the rest of the team leaves.
I love to see that confidence from Quinn, especially realizing that, hey, you know what? This fight's done. Like, my team's got this. Let me already start running over to my buggy and get ready for the next rotation. That's a good heads-up play right there from Canadian Eagles. This team, I mean, they definitely have the potential. We saw it yesterday. You know, all they got to do is just make a couple right decisions and continue with these plays, and we can see them really hit it home as we look at skills of mind now on the rotation on in. SLR having to make a bold one. Nice passing,
they made
though.
it out of that compound.
Yeah,
they
really
made it
nice
out of that
passing.
death compound. They were all in one car, by the way, because that's the only
And
car
some
they had
shots.
left. XEZ with the shots there. Extreme Slayers down to 2. Robert needs to get picked up. I don't know if he can get picked up down there, and he's going to get confirmed. His health bar is blinking. I think it's trying to say, help me. Morse
Help
code.
me.
Save me.
Help me. SOS.
I don't think they're going for that revive. They're throwing smokes down, so they're committing some util. Maybe they'll go back down the hill. But yeah, you see YKG there. Down to a solo because PASSIONFRUIT took out 3 of the players of YKG.
Wow. And Hayuya looking to go ahead and get that res off there. Meanwhile, you know, you got Super Lazy Reflex still holding this compound down. And it is impressive to see them even make it here. Like we mentioned a little earlier. That was not the easiest one for them to do. And they're looking at their previous home being taken by the Canadian Eagles. And they're doing that again out of necessity. Let's see how they're able to play that angle as the zone about to close even further onto this Pachinki Hill.
Where's it headed? South, north, east, west, and goes to the north, the northeast-ish. But yeah, the 2 giant hilltops now in play, now in zone. The 2 power positions. Puppeteer on the Northwest Canadian Eagles. Yeah, this west side of the circle is going to get really messy. That west hilltop, I see 2 to 3 teams looking to push up there now.
Yes, they are, and the pushes are starting to ensue. You see Hayuya there getting that first aid off. He's bringing in ready to move because he knows that we're going to have to here in the next few seconds as they're going to mount a defense right now onto Canadian Eagles. Here comes Quinn with a very bold rotation. Wow, getting pieced up in the process. No fear from the Canadian Eagles on that rotation. Wow.
Okay. I don't know about this rotation because they had 4. They could have
just played it.
Then again, they do realize there's like 3 other teams there, so the second they start a fight, they can't be the first ones to initiate. So
True.
I guess it makes sense because if they initiate, they're getting shot in the back. So I don't know where the rest of them went, if they made it in, but here's more rotations coming in, man. Puppeteers now fighting with Extreme Slayers on that hilltop. SLR also going to be looking to come up to this hilltop.
Some bold ones. Meanwhile, you just got Extreme Slayers, big chilling right now, looking to defend it against Puppeteers. Puppeteers coming out, Dong, with the nades, looking to open up this fight. One huge knock is all they need, and we're going to see a huge push. Come on.
Brady trying to get that first aid off before another nade comes in. Reckless moving closer and closer, and yeah, there's SLR downhill trying to work their way up. Great job from Extreme Slayers holding off 2 fronts right now. Let's see if they can manage it still, because Puppeteers, they're getting ready for that full-on push. One of Extreme Slayers knocked. Rise taking a check, taking a look at the SLR side. 3 teams here, all vying for 1 hilltop. And Canadian Eagles, they made it to that shack just north of Speedfire, so
Crazy.
Canadian Eagles are safe for now.
Super bold rotation for Canadian Eagles. I'm surprised that even worked out for them. Big risks, though, sometimes come with big rewards. And, uh-oh, Long about to deliver a nice reward on over to Extreme Slayers. That nade looks real good. Oh, barely missing the mark there. SLR trying to open up this fight as the zone is starting to reclose. They have some time here, so they don't have to really push this too hard just yet, but just trying to lace that nade. And if that does happen, yeah, it's definitely time to push. But that push is also risky, though. Yeah.
It's a 3-way fight with the zone. Like, all 3 are in zone, so they don't want to rush it by any means. And my mistake, Canadian Eagles are out. They made it to the shack, and then Speedfire got aggressive.
Wow.
Speedfire was in the two small houses right there you see on the southwest. They left those houses to push Canadian Eagles. So I think Speedfire finally realizing, like, yo, we are playing way too passive.
Yep, that's
and
not
it
working
is
out.
Not working. Yeah.
And it definitely has not been working, that's for sure. So good to see them change up strategies here. Oh, Puppeteers finding some angles onto SLR. This is a three-way fight, though, like you mentioned. So these we're not surprised to see so much passiveness happen. But I think Puppeteers said we had enough of this. We're pushing on in, but they get punished for it.
Yeah,
what a shot!
That's what happens. Three-way fight, and you initiate. You're the first team to initiate really hard. You're gonna eat some casualties. And Puppeteers down to 3 players now. One of them needs to be revived too. SLR, they get the full reset, and with the zone shifting back here, things are slowing down once again.
Here they go. Either team, do they know that if they push, they're gonna get third-partied? So that's why we're seeing so much passive. That nade was ridiculous. That was almost a three-way knock right there.
Yeah, so much damage. No knock though, unfortunate. Puppeteers haven't gone for the revive. I think they are getting another team rotating up, a wrapping rotation to the north. It is LOTUS. So LOTUS doing a nice little sneaky rotation wrapping around. And Puppeteers, I think they heard something because you could see the player Liu Jiang looking back there every now and then. Rise crawling for that revive. And PASSIONFRUIT, it's all down to Zuko. They were doing so well.
Wow. Ophelia looking to open things up against Zuko here with that nade. Yeah, things were going so well, but you know what? Sometimes the zone don't love you too much. And, you know, Sixless mentioned it. It's all about those eliminations right now. So for them to go ahead and put some eliminations early on, it definitely helps out in case they go out early, which is most likely going to happen. But this isn't that early either. This is pretty deep into the game.
Yeah, but it's 8th place. Not a lot of placements to be had there.
I think that's what,
6
one?
elimination points, though, for Zuko. Or not for Zuko, but for the team. Yeah, that's good. That's a decent game.
Decent game indeed. Better than a bad one, that's for sure. So, an improvement for PASSIONFRUIT. Especially considering that they had a solid game on the last one, a nice chicken dinner. So we'll take those all day long. Meanwhile, Butterfly Effect, pretty quiet this tournament. No eliminations so far. I'm surprised to see that. They have a huge opportunity here to capitalize, and they gotta capitalize it on here and now.
They're trying to hit these shots right now. They're getting knocks, but can't get the confirmation. Too many smokes blocking their sightlines, and yeah, Puppeteers looking to steal some of these points. And I think they're running low on ammo. You can see them trying to conserve some bullets, and Rise, Puppeteers shooting right back at them too, so hard for the Butterfly Effect to get that knock confirmation that they're so desperately looking for. They do have 1 point now, so they got 1. Can they get more before the zone shifts? Chances are they're not getting the circle, and they're going to have to push out into the open.
Well, let's see who's going to get this next circle, because this is going to be huge right here. This is a very tough zone to hold on to. So getting circle priority is definitely going to help, especially if you're one of the teams on the low ground. Because even moving a muscle right now is going to be pretty tough. You can see Dong just staring at those smokes, trying to find an opportunity. I'm surprised not taking some pop shots. You know what I'm saying? Take some pop shots through those smokes, get a hit marker, then, you know, send it on to them. But meanwhile, the calm before the storm, you can see Extreme Slayers, they know how to do aggression. And I like to see that they also know how to play passive when times really warrant it. And this is a great opportunity for them to just set up a trap.
Yeah, they've been so quiet up here. They know there's way too many teams around them for them to really stand up and take a challenge against an isolated team. And with the new circle, SLR have to keep moving once again. And the second shots ring out. Brady steps up, tries to get some quick angles and some quick third-party shots in. And SLR now back to focusing on the Extreme Slayers. Stellar getting closer and closer, but I don't know if he knows the player's right at the tree.
Oh, right at the tree. And Hayuya does start getting shot up, has to run back. So very smart for him. Play a little bit more passive. Stellar's still trying to open up the nade. Oh, he saw something. Yeah, he saw a little toe right there. Robert does a nice little shot on the Puppeteers and Thirst.
but all eyes have to be on SLR, and here comes Frady. He does get knocked, though. SLR doing a great job of pushing this 7 eliminations so far. They're looking good.
Yeah, they got 2 openings right there, so now they're going to go in for the finish. I think Extreme Slayers is just down to the one player at the top of the hill. Don't know, he's also taken out. Now it's just Puppeteers and SLR. Speedfire getting aggressive now. Here we go. But he goes down. It's all up to Caesar.
That has got to hurt. Cesar, you got to get it done, buddy. Oh, he's out wide in the open. It's going to be a hard one to peek. Yeah, and he does go down. So, hey, you know what? We have one team in particular that's really showing up. It's SLR, but here comes Puppeteers. Lu Zhang looking to shut him down.
Oh, man, the peak's so fast, so clean right now from Lu Zhang. Puppeteers, if they had more players, I think they'd go for that push, but they're down to 2. They're worried. If one player goes down, it's just all down to the solo. Dong, though, does not care. He's taking the long-range shots. Needs to confirm it. Gets stolen by Long. Long is Dong's mortal enemy. If Long's not knocking Dong, Long is taking Dong's elimination points.
Goodness gracious. The battle between Long and Dong has been going on all tournament long, and who is going to end up on top at the end of it? Yeah, I'm not wrong either, because it is a fact. And you can see both these players. We're looking at their perspectives immediately. Long going crazy. 5 eliminations so far. 14 for SLR. A monster game for them.
Man, we were talking about how they were stuck in a bad compound, but they made it work for so long, but they finally go down, and it's BOPE. BOPE with 9.
Wow.
Starting to turn up a little bit here. And Puppeteers, they can still win this with Dong on the high ground with that DP. Yujing has to get these shots in, though he misses the crucial moments right there and will get taken down by Nycrox.
Nycrox, 1 HP. Meanwhile, look at that. You got Fuego on the off angle. You still have a member of LOTUS up. Couple members of LOTUS that have been big chilling down there. Like I mentioned, it is so tough to deal with that position. And Dog! Said, you know what? I don't got to worry about Long no more. I'm ready to go. He's a threat. A massive one, too. Especially with that DP. He has the high ground. He has so much real estate here. He could definitely make some big plays.
Oh, I love this. Dong is changing up his position drastically. Because BOPE is going to be throwing a couple nades up there. BOPE is going to think Dong is still up there. And same with the rest of the enemies left on the map.
Oh, he sees his toe. He had to see it. Did he see it? Did he spot it? And his toe was just out. Dong now does. Actually, it's BOPE taking those shots. So Dong, does he spot the toes? He sees them.
Oh, he spots.
Oh, he's waiting.
So smart. It's so
He's
smart.
being so patient. Take the major threat out. And then he put himself in such a great position that he couldn't even defend. He's gonna spot him here and take the shots. A couple more taps. One more bullet. Oh, Betty, how are you surviving? Okay, another angle. That's even better.
BOPE.
Yep. Oh, Ophelia takes it. So it's just Dong versus BOPE. BOPE with 11 eliminations. 1v2.
And look, Dong is changing up his angle so quickly again. This is just shooter 101, and Dong's playing it perfectly. Nycrox misses some shots. Dong switches up. Right, left peeks. Dong pops up Nycrox just a little bit. He needs to get that reload, though. And he's only got a DBS. He's got no range other than a DP and takes so long to reload.
The shot!
He gets one! No, I thought he had that.
That was close.
I thought Dong had that knock. It looked good. But I think it was Nycrox. Yeah, Nycrox from the high ground. His shots were better. Dong putting on a show, but overall, BOPE took the huge one right there.
Oh, it took a massive one. I mean, that was so crazy to watch because BOPE played that perfectly. Right? There was so much chaos going on. They were just kind of wading in the waters, just throwing some nades here and there, getting some sick eliminations, and picking up points like crazy. But you got to give it up to Puppeteers. I mean, Puppeteers did a great job. Even SLR, right? SLR showed up huge in that last match.
I think SLR had the most eliminations out of all the teams.
Yeah.
Which, so much to go over. So let's just head to the highlights. Once again, Vikendi highlights are great. These highlights are better, or not better, but they were also great, I'd say. It's just like, man, this stage just keeps getting better and better. So don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to go to those highlights and be back with the desk.
Let's go.
Well, BOPE finally get themselves a victory here and close things out, even though it became extremely scary up against Dong from Puppeteers. And I'm telling you, man, I've been talking up Dong so often. I'm so happy you actually get to see how good of a player he can be here for his team. And he's been so quiet, but finally some life back into the life of Puppeteers. But BOPE, man, all about the rotations, their positions, taking advantage of situations like when we had a three-way fight breaking off between Speedfire, Super Laser Reflex, and Puppeteers. A great game for BOPE to win, to be honest.
Yeah, they played that really well. You know, it's deceivingly difficult to hold Pachiki Hill when there's threats coming in from all sides. But they, every time I was watching how they did, they had a few things that I didn't really agree with, but they made it work. They did, you know, some nice off angles to hold from that east side push, and then as soon as they saw third parties happening on the west side, which they knew, like, it's very advantageous for them to take care of as quickly as possible, and that they have no better time, you know, they took advantage of that, and they did push over, and they lost a few members, but I think, you know, that was in return for clearing that whole west side, and then they could claim that whole high ground and win the game. So very well played, good priorities, yeah, nice team fights.
Well, speaking of team fights, like on that western side, we saw the three teams, right? Puppeteer, Speedfire, and Super Laser Reflex. We knew that was basically like a dynamite about to go off, right? We knew the spark was just burning down that wick until eventually someone had to make the play. I was just curious if you had any thoughts about that situation from either of the team's positions and how they could have potentially played it differently to have more success.
You know, when you're stuck in those kinds of situations, like, there really isn't anything you can do. You know you're going to get that third party after. The best you can hope for is as quickly as possible and as cleanly as possible you finish the fight, right? Which is evident, you know. You have to stay up as 4 to withstand and be as healthy as possible to withstand that future third party, but there's not a whole lot of things you can control, you know, because typically if you try to go fast, which they need to do, then it gets sloppy, right? But you need both speed and to stay like completely as healthy as possible. So, you know, you're never, sometimes you can pull it off, and those are like really fantastic plays, really clean team fights, but it's kind of out of their hands, right? BOPE had that in the palms. They took advantage of it, you know. Yeah.
Well, you're talking about speed, right? And well, one team we've been giving a lot of criticism to is Speedfire, actually, right? We talked about them twice now and how they've just been reluctant to make a move, to make a decision. And finally, as Zute pointed out, this time they noticed they had to finally make a play, and they ended up pushing from the compound they had that was pretty safe on the southwest side to actually push in Canadian Eagles compound, and they took it from them. So it's nice to see that we still have an adaptation in play out of them. They're starting to learn and starting to more comfortably get to the later stages of the game, but now they need to learn how can we make the right moves at the late stage of the game. How can we take these fights more cleanly? And that's just like small little growth that you're seeing out of these teams that honestly is phenomenal to see.
Yeah, you know, they could take a couple lessons from how BOPE handled that Pachiki Hill, that whole game. You know, they pretty much did exactly what we were talking about in that Speedfire situations. They bid their time, they looked for the opportunities, and they chose the right moments, in my opinion. Not an easy hold, but well executed. Yeah, so they should look into that.
Yeah, I mean, again, right? Like it's all about figuring out what you're doing wrong, figure out what you're doing right, and obviously when you have days off, you have that opportunity. But taking a look maybe at Extreme Slayers, I try to remember, was it what team drove straight past them and they caught the last player from that? Was that actually, it was Canadian Eagles,
that
right?
was Canadian Eagles, yes.
I was wondering, like, what the hell are they doing? Because obviously the first car goes by, all right, cool. Like, you didn't know someone was there necessarily. Second car goes by, a little bit questionable. But the third one going by, I don't know if you had a better angle to rotate in, but that just seemed like a massive brain fart.
Yeah, it could be a lack of communication, right? You know, as you said, that first car, he has no information. He's got the most risk. He kind of has to go for it and try to clear a path for his teammates. But that's one very common mistake with kind of lower performing teams, is that when you get that information relayed, when that scout that's clearing the path for you, you know, can tell you there's someone there, he's gonna shoot at you. That's when you have to adapt and move. Like, don't just follow the teammate in front of you, right? You got to have your own brain. You got to have your own movements. You know, like, I think probably he just, that last vehicle was, the second vehicle might be excusable because they might not have time to really quickly divert from their path. But the last one definitely had time to, you know, consume that information that the scout was giving to him and adapt his game plan. I think probably maybe a little bit of nerves. Doesn't really want to go on his own path and make a mistake. He's like, oh well, these 3 guys lived, maybe I will too. But you don't want to play like that. You use the information that you're given and adapt your plan.
Sorry, I know you see me looking off to my side here. I'm actually just trying to look back on the map to see what happened to YKG because I didn't get to notice it there on stream. They lose to PASSIONFRUIT, and I wanted to look at YKG because obviously they play out 4 matches straight, and they're not looking too hot on the leaderboards here. But getting taken out by PASSIONFRUIT, that's honestly a little bit serendipitous, I'd say, for PASSIONFRUIT. Thinking back to week 1, there's a certain Erangel match where they got destroyed very early on in the game. But as we also heard from the interview with Sixless, like, he was expecting to be, I mean, I don't even know why I'm going back here, but I find it kind of funny. He's talking about dropping 15 eliminations a game. He's in-game leader and etc. And right now, like, the roster they are fielding without Sixless is seeming to do better than when he was with the team. I don't want to talk too negatively about him in any way. I'm not trying to, but we haven't seen that kind of performance out of him or the team. But we are starting to see the team start to build up to what he talked about in his interview projects.
Yeah, I think Sixless was dropping 15 kills per games in scrims, and then he woke up from his dream. But yeah.
I mean, right, we know this, right? I don't care what any team's performance in scrims are. I've been burned too many times in the past going to events being like, oh yeah, Unicorns of Love are doing phenomenal. They're destroying every team in scrims. Go into PMPL, bottom of the table in that season. Like that, it's expected. Like, people don't really take scrims seriously. It's all about working out the mechanics, you said, right? Actually, yeah, exactly. That's a good little thing that we could talk about. When you were doing scrims, like before an event, what were you guys really focusing on as a team? Because I've always been curious.
Yeah.
What relevance are scrims to teams going into an event? Not scrims in general, like when you're trying to practice, but like going into an event right before it begins.
Yeah, so right before it begins, like if you're doing an international tournament specifically, the scrims, the most useful aspect is figuring out each other's drop spots, right? When you're in an international tournament, you have no idea where anyone's going. Everybody's completely new to each other. And so these are those couple, 4 to 8 games. That's what we used to have back in the day. Now they do a little bit more. You just kind of feel each other out. You do a couple contests. If you win, you claim that spot as yours. If you lose, you move on. All right, that was our specific strategy, right?
Okay.
So yeah, say you'd have 2 Sanhoks. You played both of them. You lose both of them. You're gone. You win 1 and 1. It gets a little iffy, but
yeah.
So that's pretty much it. Mechanical checks as well. Team fighting, feeling it out. Things like that.
Well, it reminds me of Skills of Mine up against Wall Street Bets in week 1, where the Skills of Mine realized, okay, we can't take on Wall Street Bets anymore. But what we can take is our 4th match of the day. So we head over to our commentators to drop on in and get this one going.
Let's get it going, baby. Let's get it going, guys. Here we go into Miramar. Let's go. All right, beautiful plane path right here. Going right down the middle. El Pozo is going to be a nice drop available. San Martin, Los Leones is a little off the beaten path, but I think a lot of teams would prefer to have a plane path like this than, going down the south side. That's for sure.
Yeah, north is way better than south on Miramar. So much more just looting locations up in the north side. South, don't got as much. Definitely don't. And Jukes, by the way, today, games have been on fire.
Absolutely.
And
oh my goodness.
PASSIONFRUIT stepping up, SLR stepping up. Like, more than half the lobby has had a huge show up moment. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in this match. I don't know what to predict, other than, Hyper probably getting another solid game. Outside of that, no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right, and I have to agree because, in the previous days, it's really just been a show of, Hyper, YKG, Extreme Slayers, the top teams. Everyone else has just kind of been,
circle, though.
Wow. We haven't seen a circle like this in a hot minute. Okay.
Crater Field finish, maybe?
Fields? Imagine? Even an El Pozo
really
finish would be
north.
nuts. So, heck, SLR, they're dropping El Pozo all by themselves. They're going to be looted out the teeth, have a good position in this next circle. Maybe this could be their little comeback, because look at them, right? They're in 12th place. And guys, I mean, we've seen SLR last, right? Dead last before. So to see them, climb up the ranks here is definitely good to see.
Ace of Spades and Lotus in the hot drop once again. These two teams are not giving this location up. Neither team willing to take it, let this one go. And it's rough because this area of the map, like the loot's not that great in my opinion to constantly fight over, and the rotations could, it's not terrible since you have, the roadways north or south. Whenever you get those crazy south or north rotations, right? You
Yeah.
could use those roadways. But besides that, it's like I don't see why they constantly fight for this spot.
Ego, baby. Ego. You know what I'm saying? Just saying, you know what? This is my spot. Sometimes you got to go and just plant the flag. Now, it doesn't make sense. I mean, this is really a tough area here because there's not a lot of vehicles, number one. So even getting out of here is always a problem. And if you're sharing it, your loot timing's been reduced. It's just a tough experience overall. So I think these two squads need to understand that, hey, you know what? This is not good for either one of us. So let this be the last time we drop in this area together.
Yeah. You saw there, Mumbai, level 1 helmet, no util, no vest, Tommy gun. And
Wow.
he just kind of, has to sit there and wait to, get more info, hear where the enemies are. And it is not a situation you want to be in, especially with the zones, Jukes, because we are in the northwest, hard in the northwest. Execute one of the teams in the northwest, looting that La Cobra area. Oh, that rhymes.
All right. Yeah. You like that?
Yeah, and this could be a big game for Execute. They did well on Vikendi, and then after that kind of, fell off again. And so this zone is a huge opportunity for them to, boost up their points once again.
Absolutely. Okay, how are you going to boost it up is going to be the question. One team that really needs to boost up their points, of course, is YKG, right?
Yeah.
Look at that, Istajat on the team. They have not been able to really get things going here. We do see a couple little, nice little plays here and there, them soaking up some points, but that YKG dominance we saw in phase 1 where they just looked unstoppable. We're just not seeing it. And I think it has 100% to do with just how much better a lot of these teams are playing. Because, I mean, one team that just needs to keep bodying them is BOPE over and over again. I see them lose to BOPE.
They lost Passion Fruit last match.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're definitely right. It is definitely the teams getting better and better, just more warmed up. I think week 1, more than half the lobby wasn't warmed up yet. And that explains why. Or that explains why, Jukes. We're seeing these teams stepping up huge, like SLR just did, Passion Fruit stepped up, Canadian Eagles, right? So it is definitely these teams in the lobby stepping up their game, and it is making it so much harder for YKG to get anything done.
They're just seeming to struggle. Can't seem to get it done at all. And, it's tough, especially when you have, so many teams in the lobby leveling up little by little. I mean, Passion Fruit, like you said, a team that's just been doing better and better. SLR's had some pop-off games. Speedfire, where you at? Where you at? Hopefully we see some of that.
Yeah, Speedfire.
Where you at?
Speedfire is struggling to level up. They leveled up a little bit last game when they pushed Canadian Eagles.
A little bit.
Left their, safe compound and actually went aggressive. That was nice to see. So maybe Speedfire, but yeah, there's some teams that, just inevitably won't level up.
Yeah.
Not everyone can be winners.
That's true. Not everyone can be winners, but hopefully we see them, something. Hopefully we see something here sooner rather than later. Moving on over, we've seen a lot out of BOPE lately. BOPE has been, making some really good, solid plays. And this is the team I was talking about, Super Lazy Reflex. Man, look at this. Soaking up some nice points in the early game. These guys seem to have gotten it together on the off day.
They really stepped it up. Butterfly Effect, I think they had one chicken dinner game that we really kind of noticed, and then never seen again. So Butterfly Effect, still waiting to see where they're gonna step up. But like I said, not everyone can step up, not everyone can be winners. Teams are starting to rotate into this zone though. So I see a couple of teams execute SLR, Butterfly Effect, and Skills of Mine pretty centered up now. We have 412 coming over the top side. YKG holding down the far edge south. They're just waiting to see if the circle hardships back south to them probably. And yeah, everybody is starting to get a move on.
Everyone is hauling it right now, except for these two teams. Still battling it out. Man, this is tough. This is the worst location to be stuck at. Impala is not a fun place to be sharing loot with. And now both these,
fighting it.
Yeah, we're fighting it all. Look at this. Both these teams having casualties. Mumbai did find the bus, so that's pretty good. But, I mean, man, it's just not looking healthy overall for these two squads. So, pretty much a lost cause at this point, especially in Miramar having to rotate in so late. It's going to be tough. Yeah, so, I mean, if we see these teams even in endgame, I would be surprised.
Yeah, just watching this fight is, like, annoying.
Hurts.
Like,
Annoying.
yeah, when I say annoying, I don't mean like as a caster, as in like, why are we watching? No, not annoying in that sense. I mean, I'm putting myself in their shoes, and it just looks like an annoying fight. Like if I were playing and fighting in this, I'd be like, why are we in this situation? I hate this situation.
Exactly. Yep. That's the worst. Those are the worst fights. Where even you yourself and you're like, why? What are we doing? Why are we even here? You know what I'm saying? And
like I hate this.
I hate this, and it's so easy to get frustrated, right? With your teammates, with your players. You're like, dude, how do we always, you know, that's where you have that talk. You're like, why do we always find ourselves in these situations? You know, we shouldn't even be here right now. And, you know, that is so distracting too, right? Instead of like, you know, obviously just trying to find that way to get out. You're trying to find a way, but you don't really see an obvious one. And wow, look at that kiddo. Just getting straight beamed there by Gera as he is right next to a Marauder. Oh, look at that. Oh, the axe.
You gotta go for the BM.
Yeah, 100%.
They're frustrated.
Yeah, they are. They're like, this is your fault. This is your fault. We got to deal with this.
Yeah, it was like, you did this.
You did this to us.
You did this to us. To the both of us.
How could you?
I don't care that we won the fight. I don't like it. And, Denza going down here. And the circle, by the way, shifted northwest. So Crater Fields is now like kind of off-center. And more central is to the west of Crater Field, so this is going to be an interesting one.
Let's see how it does all end out. As Stellar looking to make the rotation. Man, I'm so proud of SLR. I can't keep talking about him. I mean, I really love to see teams level up as time goes on. And that's why we're so critical, by the way, guys. You know, if you see us really kind of harping on a squad, we want them to see better. And as soon as I say that, Long falls down. The long drop.
The jinx.
You hate to see it.
Execute losing fate. Oh, man. That's what I was worried about. I was worried that Execute, you know, have such a good position inside the very first circle that they're not going to know how to play it. And they're going to be too split up, and then they're going to lose players one by one. And actually, they're down to one player, Jukes.
Oof.
I thought it was just fate, but it's actually the whole team except one player. And that's how they're going to take advantage of a great circle, right? Oh, you hate to see it.
You hate to see it, dude. That's one of those things, another one of those frustrating moments, right? You're just like, how is this happening? How are we getting caught in these situations? Especially when you're in such a dominant spot. But you know what? To each their own. It does. Happens to the best of us. Happens to the best of us. Let's see. You know, the most important thing is, how do you come back from it? How do you come back from it? And meanwhile, we're watching K19, another squad that we're looking to see just develop as time goes on. I am excited for North America this season, though, overall. You know, I think we're starting to see more signs of life than before. I still think that we as a region have a long way to go. There's no doubt about it. You know, I can't be shy when it comes to saying that. But, oh, look at that. Rise catching gun paint off guard. That's like always Miramar. You know, there's so much open range. You kind of get a little bit too comfortable, and then you get like beamed from this crazy angle, and you're like, wow. Like, how do we not see these guys here?
I mean, it's an area of the map that these teams aren't all too familiar with either, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, can there actually be someone on that giant hill? I don't think so. It looks too hard to get up to. And then you run up there, and the head peeks out, and you're like, oh, darn it.
Yeah, and that's one where you're just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even, like, fault yourself. You think, it happens. Meanwhile, look at this. You see Canadian Eagles getting into BULUC CHABTAN. BULUC CHABTAN have definitely had some great fights here. Oh, they are so grouped up. The utility is just so dangerous for them. And Canadian Eagles not able.
What happened?
What happened, right? What happened to that crazy defense we saw yesterday?
Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, we didn't see the fight until, you know, one player was knocked, but there was 3 players all in one corner of the room. Not sure how it led to that. Maybe they got corralled into that corner, which great job by the team on the offense then. But here we have K19 going on the offense. HH knocked. Okay, so HH first one's knocked, right?
Yes.
They're going to win this fight now. They're going to win this fight.
That's right.
HH
That's
is the
correct.
first one knocked. That's
HH
how it works.
first one knocked.
He's
They can't
shooting
be
his
stopped.
teammate.
Oh
What
my
is he doing?
goodness.
Wait, what was he spraying at?
He's bringing out his teammate because he wants them to say, hey, give me intel. Give me intel. And look at that. Wasted. Gets it done. And here they go to clean up K19. Very nice.
I'm actually genuinely confused what was going on there.
No, I'm
It
telling
looked like he
you.
was like blowing up the car, maybe? Like, but
No,
okay.
he was shooting at him because he was demanding information and he wasn't giving it to him. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I see. Well,
So-
K19 are losing this fight, so HH going down first wasn't the solution.
Mm-mm. But who knows? Maybe Trip, right? All by his lonesome. All by his lonesome can get revenge for HH and Squad. Good shot at Sanhok. He misses those. That's not good. And goodbye.
Yeah, not much he could do. Not much he could
Yeah,
do.
that's tough. That's a tough spot for sure. Tough spot.
3 teams with only 1 player left. So
Wow.
it is rough. This zone is making it real rough for these teams. And you know what this board is telling me with how many players are up, alive, and stuff?
What's that?
That a lot of these teams don't know how to get into this zone. And not necessarily faulting them. Like, they don't know how to play this zone. That's why you see teams just fragmented, like losing players left and right here and there. And we haven't seen a real team fight yet, right? Besides the one that we kind of just saw. So it's just this area of the map is like, what do we do?
What do
right?
we do indeed, right? That's always the question. That is always the question. And sometimes the answer isn't clear, right? You have to make that 50-50 choice. Or sometimes both are bad decisions. You're like, man, we're in big trouble. You just got to make one, and hopefully your team is on the same page and with you. Next zone, I'm about to pop on over. Will it center
Ace of
up?
Spades. Look at
Okay.
Ace of Spades all the way in the east, in the blue still.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
And that's all because of that fight, that early fight over there at Impala. Man, it really hurt that squad.
Fetty
Fetty mollied himself.
Because he was so deep in the blue. He's like, oh, man.
We're not going to make it.
Just
We're
get
not
me
gonna-
out.
Yeah, get me out of here.
Exotico.
That's crazy. Exotico with the nice shots. Crow up top. MEZEXIS have all the angles here. They should win this fight.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. He's got teammates, so Exotico does make it out of there. He repositions himself to the lower ground. His teammates coming up to help. MEZEXIS
Ooh,
3v3
actually-
situation now.
I'll give
Butterfly
the spot to Butterfly Effect. I think they have a better angle
Yeah.
now. After that
I think so,
distraction.
too, actually. Oh, that nade should be good.
Oh, so
Yep.
good. Yep. They have all the sight lines and hill priority. Inactive does have that roof, but the way that Butterfly Effect is spreading, throwing Molotovs, goodness gracious, this is how you take a fight right here. Nice little
Step it up.
pre-fire. Yep, that should be easy knock there. There you go. Now it's just Crow up left. Butterfly Effect, just make sure you don't get caught on a 1v1. All you're going to do right now is buy time, Kubi. Pre-fire
Yeah,
each
just run in
angle.
circles.
Yep, run in
That's
circles.
fine. Yeah, perfect.
This is how you do it.
Well played. Oh, wait, hold up. Did I just hear you choking, Jukes? Because I think that's what we just saw. Butterfly Effect. Was that a 1v3? Like, I don't even blame the
Wow.
cameraman. I thought Crow was
Wow.
dead, and we were just watching for a Butterfly Effect to win that. But Crow was bopping them, one by one by one, 1v3. I think that's what just happened as SLR here. They were doing so well, 7 eliminations get taken out. BULUC CHABTAN up to 6. Good game for SLR still, 7 elims. Not too bad.
This is what we want to see, right? This is what we want to see from SLR, right? The games where they go
Oh,
out
it's
early,
Trick again.
they put some points. Uh-oh.
It's Trick again.
It's always Trick by himself, dude. Poor guy. I'll tell you what, he's been a
Gonna
huge
pull
player
off.
for Execute. He's going to throw a nade here because he doesn't want to give away his position, but they're probably going to see where the nade's coming from. Oh, they have to hear him now. Oh, that was just a rough nade. And he gets caught. Yeah, skills of mind. Eliminating Execute. So Execute go out with not very many points indeed. So
Tough finish
Not
from
many
them.
very points indeed.
Yeah. By not very many, I mean
That's rough.
0. That's tough.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you know, a team that doesn't need to get 0 is YKG, right? YKG still on the hunt for those PMGC points against Hyper, and Hyper is definitely.
I don't think it's happening.
You think it's over? You think the nail is already in the coffin?
I just, with the way it's going,
No way.
like, they're at 0 points right now, only 2 players alive. And the lobby's only going to get more difficult. Like, as in, these teams are just getting better and better. That's the trend. So, coming into week 3, yeah, YKG could bounce back. They could tighten things up. But they're not, I don't think we're going to see a week 1 YKG in week 3. It's just not going to happen. These teams are just not pushovers anymore. By the way, look at Hyper spread on the east side.
Oh, wow.
2 in the middle.
Crazy.
Red all the way in the north. Disgusting.
Rocking the Mighty
map
Duck.
control.
Yeah, they're literally riding the Mighty Duck flying V. That's what it looks like right there. Just covering all the angles. You got GK first up close and personal, and they have so much zone prioritization. They don't even have to worry about this. Meanwhile, I mean, look at this. You got how many squads are here on the west side of the map? It's just brutal. I mean, this should be an easy game for Hyper. MEZEXIS is still in play. You know, they have 3 players up, so they can make something happen. Skills of Mine has 4 with 4 eliminations. They are in the crater fields. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to come out on top and who's going to be the kings of the west side right now. That's going to be another question as we look at Puppeteers. Puppeteers have the sight lines. They're going to be the team gatekeeping all these squads. They got to make sure they focus on one team at a time, though.
See what happens as the blue zone closes in. Teams will be forced to push into the Puppeteers. PASSIONFRUIT also in the zone, just barely looking to gatekeep out and obtain some points for themselves as well. YKG not in the zone. You have to push past PASSIONFRUIT. PASSIONFRUIT with only 2 though, so it is doable. If Joey lands that nade, it looks pretty good. Should do some damage. No, falls short.
Oh, you can see him tapping with that M16. He's looking to apply that pressure here. Now this is the YKG I love to see, right? Players playing really close together, trying to find angles. Now, this nade from Nightcroc can be dangerous. It does a little bit short, so that's good for him. But meanwhile, Nightcroc's going to throw another just a little bit further down the way. Still off the mark. PASSIONFRUIT's up on top, just hearing this, waiting. So let's see what PASSIONFRUIT can do. As Zuko spots Nightcrocs and punches him there for making too much noise.
Yeah, Nightcroc's trying to do what he could. Point gets confirmed too by Zuko. I thought for a second that was YKG we were looking at. YKG just still trying to find a way in. If anything, trying to find a singular point. Like, how did Zuko get up there? Running back and forth all around here. How did that man get up that high?
That's the question. Goodness gracious. He had to be with the buggy or something. Or maybe he's just got you got him hiking boots on. Let's see here.
Nope,
Joey
found it.
Stunned him. He's blind. I saw the hand go up, so he was blind there. He did back off. And with Joey, great, so good.
Like
at,
1 HP.
Joey's so good at finding that distance right there, that perfect distance to just cause disruption. And look at that shot. Oh, Joey.
What?
So good.
Joey just has like an extra buff with the DBS.
He does.
I don't feel like I see any other players get that much range with the DBS besides Joey.
Telling you, man, this guy, he has such amazing fight awareness. You know, he knows how the distance that he has to take in a 1v2 situation, you know, how to peek back, come back forward, and just give himself the best advantage possible. And that's exactly what he did right there. This is the Joey that we're hoping to see some more out of here as the zone centers up. And so far, not really anybody in it. All these teams are going to have to leave that comfort zone and have to push up this hill.
Yeah. I would love to see Puppeteers recognize the fact, like, hey.
Is that this
we
big
have
mountain? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is a tough circle.
No, that mountain you're looking at is outside of zone.
Okay,
What's
it
in
looked like
zone,
it was
or
just
the
in.
new
I was
circle.
kind of like, wait, what?
Yeah, what's in zone is really playable still. But I want to see Puppeteers pull back a little bit. There's like a compound that's in zone that is open, that's pretty center. They don't have to be spread out like 1-1-1-1, try and get as many elims as possible because they're going to have multiple teams pushing in from multiple fronts. They need to be a little bit careful here.
Meanwhile, you got Supra from BOPE, last player alive. So he's the only solo left. 4-1-2 is still big chillin', with only 2 players up, though, so they got to play this a little bit carefully. And you can see Puppeteer's rise has 4 sight lines on him. Skills of Mind with 6 eliminations so far, having a great game.
Yeah, Skills of Mind showing up this time around. Yujang has to hold this side by himself, and he's against Joey. And yeah, okay, now he's realizing, hey, there is a spot inside zone that we could kind of center up and play from, and we don't have to hold so many fragmented defenses, and he peeks over the top. Ducks just in time. Yeah, Rise goes down. This is exactly what I was saying. Puppeteers didn't need to hold such a massive split. When that new zone popped, you need to get the info to play more center up.
Sometimes you got to make that move. That's always the hardest decision when you have a good, comfortable spot in the circle, or even when you're just, you like your angle, but you have to start pushing and you got to take a better spot. You got to be able to make that decision. So let's see how they're going to execute on that, because you got Puppeteers here on the west side. Dong, the most split dead center. You can see him holding that cover right there. He's got to be careful. I mean, this is what I'm so worried about when it comes to Puppeteers. They're so good when they play together, but these splits, I think, is what catches them off guard.
Yep, Reckless goes down just as you say that, and he was trying to go get that revive from the player that was knocked earlier. So it's just from a 4-man team, the only 4-man team besides NHyper, down to 2, and they had the center zone for themselves for free when it came out.
Wow. And Dong holding that angle there, gonna try to help out Lu Zhang. He's pushing up little by little. You know, it's just gonna be a great defense against YKG. Well, at least that's what they're going to attempt to do. See him all by himself here. Dong is on the back line looking to support his teammate, and because he needs them. And this is, I'm telling you, Puppeteers would have just worked together and focused on each squad one by one. This could have been a crazy chicken dinner, but instead, they rock these splits. And I'll tell you what, in Miramar, we see them get punished, I think, more often than not.
Yep. Pope goes down there in Hyper. Just child's play for them.
Oh, my goodness.
And they keep coy all the way in the back just to anchor things down, like get all the info possible. Because you only need 4 there. If you got 3 gunners in the same spot, a 4th one isn't going to be too big of a difference. That's Kindness putting in some really good shots now.
From long range, the dude is just a monster. Joey does get knocked there. And this is tough, right, for YKG watching this, because they're looking at the elimination feed, and they're seeing that NHyper is still up and still racking up more points than they are. So IsaJet's going to need to pick up Joey here, because that's his only teammate left still in this match. And Hyper rocking a full 4-man zone blessed. This is literally where they work best. It's their game to lose at this point. Honestly, there's no way they lose this. There's no way they lose this.
Yeah, there's no way. If
Zero
you asked
chance.
me last year, I'd be like, yeah, NHyper has a chance at choking this, because they choke. They choke a lot. But now, there's no way.
Oh, look at this.
There's
Another
so
one.
easy.
Another
And
one.
all the meanwhile, YKG is seeing this in the feed, right? I'm telling you, it's done for YKG.
stings.
YKG is not gonna be able to catch up PMGC points wise
Wow.
against NHyper.
You heard it
I don't
here
think
first,
so.
folks. You heard it
It's
here.
just not possible.
You heard it here first. Not even possible. You heard the nail go in the coffin via Zute. Man, that's intense. There's still a lot more of this tournament to be played, but I'll tell you what, the way NHyper is playing this, if they continue to have this same level of play, yeah, I mean, they're going to be pretty much unstoppable, because when these guys get zoned, they don't lose it. And when they don't get zoned, they still survive somehow. It's crazy to watch.
Yeah, they just keep surviving. And they don't just survive and make it up with a few placement points. They survive and pick up more elims still. And, it's
My
just
goodness.
a chokehold. Child's play, like I said earlier, for NHyper.
Yeah, it's crazy to watch.
Sometimes I wonder if NHyper get mad at the fact that the lobby's too easy for them, because they're
Oh
probably
my
thinking like, this is not preparing. This is not preparing us.
Yeah.
This is not preparing us enough for the next stage. This lobby's too easy. You know?
It reminds me of Vampire during PMWI. They would get like their 8th chicken dinner, and they would just start giving fist bumps after a win. They're like, all right, yeah, you know, like just
we do this. You know what I'm saying? Like no longer the let's go. You know, just yeah, another win. Put it in the bag now. You know, and Hyper, yeah, just dominated Joey. That's gotta hurt. If you're YKG, just feeling your chances of that, all that work you did all year long, right? Spring split dominance, starting off strong here in the fall split, and just feeling that ticket to PMGC just slip through your fingers. It's gotta sting.
Time for him to molly himself.
Hey, do you think this is a good name? Hey, his name, very accurate right here. All right, guys, let's get it going. And Hyper with the chicken dinner as predicted here on Miramar. I mean, who could stop them? That is the question. Who could stop these beasts in the lobby?
No one. No one. They're just playing way too well. I like the whole shift in dynamic, by the way. We had like crazy games, Jukes, and then we have the most like just nonchalant
Easy
chicken
dub
dinner ever.
and
Like
Hyper.
like they got 12 eliminations too.
A dozen.
Any other team that gets 12 eliminations in any other game, we're like, dude, that was massive, that was huge. But they just made it so easy that
That's
it's
right.
just like, oh, 12 elims, chicken dinner, and Hyper. What more do you want us to say?
Congratulations. You won.
Not even hyped about it. I'm not even hyped about it.
I mean, this is crazy. I mean, 12 eliminations, a chicken dinner just rolling through the lobby. And you know what they've mastered is like, look at Miramar, splits, I think, work if you're on the outer edge of the circle. You know what I'm saying? If you're on the outer edge.
And if you know what you're doing.
And if you know what you're doing,
know
right?
what you're doing.
And your team is talking to each other well, right? You're able to kind of cover angles, get knocks, and then push your way on through. If you're in the center, though, man, splitting up against teams that are just full pushing on you, it just doesn't work out. I want to see Puppeteers do what they do best in a zone like that. When they get the circle, play tight, and just focus on one team at a time.
Yeah, in my opinion, play to your level. You don't know how to split like the way Hyper does. Like Hyper, that area of the map, not commonly played, but they have the fundamentals down. Doesn't matter where you throw them. They understand the fundamentals to a high degree, Jukes, and that's why Hyper, they can do the splits that they do.
Speaking of throw, let's throw it to the highlights, guys. We'll be right back.
Well, it wouldn't be a day without Hyper getting a victory, and another really good victory of them nonetheless, because they also lengthened the lead up against YKG when it comes to PMGC. But uneven, I think one of the most important things we need to take away from that match, and as you heard Zutan Hachis talking about, the spread they had was phenomenal. We'll talk about that in a little bit of time here. We'll take a look at the match rankings, get an idea of how many points Hyper got for themselves, 22. And no one else passing 10. That's pretty disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, not too surprising from a match that was so condensed, right? There was a lot of people alive very, very late into that game, just because of the way the terrain is, with with the amount of buildings and cities and mountains separating viewpoints. So yeah, oftentimes when you have maps that are this condensed, everybody's dying all the time. There's not too many elimination points, except for obviously that one team. And Hyper was able to stay away from all that noise, play that quiet east side, hold some really, really nice controlling splits, and not have to deal with all that, right? They kind of recognized, over there is where all that action is, where there's too many factors to control. Let's play this quiet side. They found it, and they played it perfectly.
Okay, well, you can see Skills of Mine get 9, 4-12 Nomads, ended up finishing second with 8. Puppeteers with 8, YKG with 8, finally getting some decent points on the board here, it feels like. Super Laser Reflex with 7, BOPE with 6, and BULUC CHABTAN with 6. I feel like we haven't talked about BC in a very long time. and by very long, I mean obviously yesterday, where they won the final match of the day. And then looking on the rest of the list, PASSIONFRUIT get themselves 4. And the reason I'm rattling off these numbers for you, Uneven, and for the viewers, obviously, at home, right? What kind okay. NHyper have almost a 60-point lead over anyone else in this lobby in Phase 2. They're at 175 points with 101 eliminations. They almost have more points in eliminations than our second place team has total points. We have Extreme Slayers at 116 in second place. PASSIONFRUIT in third place with 114, tied with 412 NOMADS in fourth place at 114. Then it goes to 106, 102, 99, etc. 60-point lead. Hello? Are they even playing the same game as the rest of these guys?
You know, it's one of those tournaments, kind of like that PMWI Vampire Esports performance, where it's like, it's not even competition, right? It's like you're playing for second place, you're playing for third place when you're the rest of these teams, right? They're really performing at a different level in all aspects of the game, right? That's a must when you're seeing a gap like this, like mechanically, macro-wise, team cohesion-wise, communication. I'm sure all of this is on a superior level right now. And as you said, YKG getting 8 points, and then you realize, oh, that's a decent game, right? They're stepping it up, and then you realize that NHyper did 22 points. So not only did they, not even get close to catching up, but their lead has, increased by however many points that is.
YKG are at 80 points this week, so almost 100-point difference. And I think going into the week, NHyper had like a 20-point lead over YKG, so they're looking at about an 80-point lead over YKG for PMGC points, with only 6 days left plus this last match, which YKG's not even in, and NHyper is. So this is going to be ridiculous. And before we break down the player stats for NHyper in this last match, let's actually take a look here at what we meant by that spread they were pulling off. And we have a nice little screen to throw up for you guys to see at home. The spread is just redonkulous, and I wanted you to actually talk this through and what eventually happened, if you can.
Yeah, I mean, so this is a classic, right? They're looking at the elimination feed, and they're getting all this information. They know there's a hugely condensed area not on the south, right? Because they have Koi seeing that entire crater. They know it's going to be on the west side / potentially the north, and they know that what's free east, right? Once they get this information, they take advantage of it. They hold a beautiful split. They'll be ready for any shift that comes up right here, except for the hard west shift, in which case, it'll still be not that difficult for them because they have so much information, so much vision. A split like this is hugely beneficial, obviously.
But you did say skills of mind. If they have the knowledge of where NHyper was eventually playing, there was a hill they could have taken, which could have completely screwed over NHyper.
Yeah, I think there was a couple holes. I didn't like was it Koi's positioning on the far south? I did think it did achieve the same goal as if he was in the center, but with more weaknesses. So it could have been taken advantage of, but it wasn't.
Well, NHyper are vulnerable, but not seem to be too vulnerable here in NA, as we head back to our commentators to kick off our final match of the day over on Sanhok.
Last match of the day, baby. Let's get it going. And it's Sanhok. Ooh, I hope you have your Monster Energy ready, because you know what? It heated up in Vikendi. All right? It heated up in that Erangel match. Slow down in Miramar, okay? All right, slow down a little bit. But we are turning things up to 11 here in Sanhok. I have a big feeling here, Zute, because we've seen last match of the day, we see half the team go out, or half the whole lobby go out within just the first, few minutes of the match. So I'm expecting to see non-stop action here in this last one.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see that too. I also want to see, to end this day off, that northwestern circle.
Please.
Just one time. For the one time. For the one time.
For the one time. Do it. Give it to us. Give it to us. Where's the zone going? Give it to us. Oh, it's going to center up, isn't it?
The west.
It's going to center up, isn't it? I don't even want to say it. Why did I say that? Come on. North. West.
Now.
Circle. And
Passion.
now. Fruit. Oh, it's
the complete opposite.
Wow.
It trolled us. Hey, we could get a cave finish.
Oh, please. Please do. That's what we want to see.
You know what YKG hates the most, though, right now?
What's that?
they get a decent amount of points last match in Hyper, the casual 22 points. And now on Sanhok, when they're not playing in Hyper, get the zone down there.
Goodness
on the
gracious. It is just looking too good to be true here at this point for Hyper. I mean, you said it, like there's no way YKG's gonna catch up. I mean, even Jason got on him a little bit for just showing like, hey, like look how many points you've gotten in this phase. It's crazy to see. So now, I mean, Hyper have the chance to just increase that lead even further. We're here in Paradise, watching Canadian Eagles
nice
going
nade.
against Butterfly Effect once again.
It's always these two
Always.
Canadian Eagles. One of them is knocked. They're not pushing though. They're not really. I think they're waiting for Exotico to come in on that off-angle flank. So they'll let them get the reset, and they'll value not the man advantage, but they're going to value Exotico's flank position way more. Let's see if Exotico can make something happen though, because that's the whole reason Butterfly Effect didn't push off that knock.
Let's see.
Coming in on the south.
Coming in on the south of D. Trying to, I think we saw one of the, I think it was Kubi, try to attempt finding another angle here, but instead playing it a little bit more careful. Canadian Eagles, Exotico, yeah, this is the angle that you were talking about. If he's able to really find that good spot and catch Canadian Eagles off guard, oh, it's going to be huge. These are the kind of splits I enjoy. You know what I'm saying? A 3-1 here where you have most of the team working together, and then you have one player trying to find a cheeky off angle to open up the fight. That's huge. But that one player has to be careful, because if he gets spotted and they realize that he's split, they're coming for him all day long. Did you see him? Oh my gosh, Baby Tank spotted him.
He's got eyes in the back of his head. MEZEXIS onto SLR. SLR already lose one player there. And Dong coming in.
Dong!
Where's that angle at? I see Excuse up on the mountaintop. Man, SLR are finding themselves in a terrible spot.
It's not good. It is not good. They are completely surrounded. White Elegy trying to find some angles here, but he's completely sandwiched between how many teams? 3?
3.
That's brutal.
MEZEXIS, Excuse, Puppeteers. That's one of those moments when you're just like, you might be wondering how I ended up in this situation. Well, SLR down to 1. That team is not going to be here for long. Oh, Excuse, one of the Excuse players getting knocked now from Puppeteers. This could be Puppeteers' chance to get a huge game in. I feel like Puppeteers, as long as they're starting off hot early in the match, they typically like kind of manage to make it towards the end game with points as well.
I want to see them play it together, because I think after that last match, I think they're upset, because I think they felt like they could have
Oh yeah,
won
they kind of
it.
threw that.
Yeah, I think they felt like, and there's nothing.
Oh, tap, tap,
wow,
tap.
great shots there from right. Push it, right? I think you have 2 knocks here. This could be a good opportunity for them to press the action if they have vehicles, but yeah, you can see Rai starting to go for the run. I think that's definitely the play, but the problem is that that run is dangerous, and he knows it.
Yeah, that's why there is a little bit of hesitancy, but they got the car. Here it comes.
Here they go.
Driving in.
A little later than I would have liked to have seen, and thank you. Kindness just said thank you for that elimination,
come
Puppeteers.
on.
Thank you. We'll take those.
That's disrespectful.
We'll
That
take
is
those.
Disrespectful.
And they needed them. And Hyper really needed those eliminations really bad.
Oh, we're back up to the Paradise fight. Looks like Canadian Eagles are on the back, but Canadian Eagles down to 1. They're down to 1.
Oof. So it's like Butterfly Effect did find those angles, and it's just Quinn.
Wow.
Man, crazy. It's tough to see. I hate seeing a team that we start to see some life from just not be able to repeat that in the next day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But we saw a lot of other teams
That's true.
spring up today with live, which I love. So I don't mind it.
We'll take
Back
it.
and forth. Yeah, the games have been great today, so
Overall,
can't
yes.
complain whatsoever.
Man, let's see how this last one's going to end. So we already have 2 squads, Rock Cake Solos, Extreme Slayers. Right now holding this compound, waiting for the next zone. This is pretty central right now. I'm excited to see so many teams rotate so quickly down here. I mean, if you guys take a look at the map feed, you'll see just, I mean, man, this is jam-packed in this area. Everybody is just waiting for this next zone to pop.
Next circle coming in very soon and jam-packed indeed. I'm looking at the map. There is 1, 2, 3, just like maybe 4 teams that is not center zone. Everyone else is as center as possible. So teams are definitely not messing around this Sanhok match. Wall Street Bets Killjoy taking some shots, not hitting it. He's gonna run back, spread out from his team a little bit more, and it was Speedfire who's taking shots at Speedfire in an okay spot right there. You can see down there on the more eastern half of the circle. But everyone's just playing that hurry up and wait game now on Sanhok of all maps. That's
Yeah,
surprising.
you know what? And with this
This
particular
circle, though.
zone, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is with this zone like this. So teams playing it a little bit careful, but I think in this next shift, we'll see a few squads definitely get into the action here. Because right now, it's such a threat. Okay, all right, a hard shift down here. The teams that decided to hold this spot, paying off big time, and Hyper getting pretty zone blessed here in this last game. Let's see.
Yeah.
As now people are starting to press to action. Extreme Slayers getting mighty close to excuse, and Remix has the sight lines. He's gonna go for the run over. Nope, he
He's
jumps out.
sticking the res?
Wow.
I don't know if you saw what I saw, but it looked like he was holding that res just for a little second longer with Remix driving right by in front of him. Maybe he thought he had a timing to get it off and then take the shots.
Nope.
Extreme Slayers, they need to go fast, and they need to go faster than how fast they're going now, because that zone far down in the south.
Oof.
And I won't be surprised if Hyper somehow play a 2-2 split across both sides of that, little lake river splitting cave. If any team is going to pull off something like that, it would be Hyper.
That's for sure. You're absolutely right. If any team can do it, it's going to be them. So let's see just how many points they're going to rack up once again here in this match. These guys have just been rock solid all phase long here. And MEZEXIS looking to try and turn things up. Dong, another player that's been pretty dangerous. And I want to see Puppeteers just stick to their roots here. Just play together, use that aggression that you love to use. And I think we could see them have a lot of success, especially in Sanhok.
Yeah. Puppeteers, that's just a deadly team. When they pop off, they really pop off.
True.
So, gotta be always wary of the Puppeteer team. BULUC CHABTAN in the blue zone, trying to rotate in. And Butterfly Effect taking that long fight in Paradise Resort. Only gets a couple points, only gets 3 points, and they are so far out of zone now. This zone just not doing them any favors whatsoever.
Nope, it definitely doesn't. I mean, this rotation's getting crazy. So far, we don't even see a team over there in Docks. That's crazy that Docks is in play in this zone. It's been a while since we've seen that happen. So let's see how they opt to play it here. I mean, Cave is still in play. I don't want to jinx it, though. I don't want to jinx it. Come on. Executor in a really tough spot. They are all the way down south, holding the edge over here in Bontage. So let's see how they decide to play it in, because they're going to have to push through Hyper in this situation. So I think right now they're just playing it real slow. Look at this, though. Long has his eyes set on MEZEXIS. As they're rotating on in, you see some of those pop shots on that Ronnie. He's going to pop back out. And, Long is just so deadly here. When is
So
he
patient.
When is he going to pull the trigger on an inactive? Oh, he's got so
I mean, he's
many
the last
sight
one up.
lines. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the last one up. So he's got to be able to get a knock and a confirmation for sure.
At
Or else
least.
it's not even worth shooting. So might not even see him shoot at all. Here's the southern side. People are finally starting to fill into the docks area. This is K19 coming in from the northwest. Just
Shots.
cars driving right by Trip. Not able to get a knock though. 2 players down to like very low health, however.
Oh. The Ronnie is that one vehicle I'll give it exception to just blast, because that thing just explodes so easily. So normally I'll just say, like, hey, why aren't we seeing these teams and players go for tires? Because it's just so valuable. Ronnie just explodes. Oh, my goodness. I've been asking
What a
for it.
sound.
I've been asking
The
for
cave.
it, Zute. There's a
Yeah.
big chance we could actually see a K finish after years of begging. That would be crazy.
Let's see it. And Hyper on the high ground, though. We got Ren on top of the cave. And notice how they're not playing all 4 players on top of that high ground. Why? Because they know it's easy for them to get surrounded, and it's hard to hold multiple flanks. So instead of just playing the high ground, and Hyper are doing a 1-3 split, and they'll have that whole west side cleared by holding more focus on the west side without being on the hilltop. That is just something teams should really look at and think, why are they not all playing up there as 4? And there's a lot to learn from it.
A lot to learn indeed. This is just absolute chaos here. Chi looking to hold some angles. Right now, Wall Street Bets in a pretty good spot in the zone. They have really good defense in this area, especially with this, since it's completely surrounded by those broken walls. You can see Skur looking to the sky a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to see if he spots something crazy.
You never know.
Never know.
Never know.
Never know. Maybe there's a player up in the palm trees. Gotta watch out. Meanwhile, in Hyper, so deadly, holding down this bridge. Trick actually went down it. Trick actually went down this bridge and got punished. That's crazy. I am shocked to see one of these.
You never know.
I mean,
yeah, okay, it doesn't kind of work there. You should know.
you should
know
know that that bridge is heavily watched, especially this late in the circle. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. It's just execute, man.
Sometimes
That
you gotta send
Northwest
it.
Island. That Northwest Island, just
You're just saying, give
Terrible.
it up, right?
terrible spot to play it. Oh, Fate just gets knocked too. I think he should be able to get revived, but
Passion
Hyper
Fruit.
hitting all the shots. Oh, here we go. Against Speedfire.
Uh-oh.
Grenade. Not landing in the right area. Passion Fruit going in ham, going hyper aggressive here. Where's the rest of Speedfire? Are they going to come support the players at the building? We'll see.
They got to make some plays because right now, Speedfire currently has that title of It's Just Speedfire. They got to make a defense, though. They have to be able to put up a fight here. Otherwise, they're just going to be getting full sent on like crazy by every single team. Speedfire. I don't think I've seen them make a defense at all today. At all. It's not even a fight. That's tough.
You know what? Like, I'll give them this. They threw the nades in the building, at least. Somehow just, like, none of them connected.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Unfortunate. Not able to hit the
I don't know.
mark. So there they go.
Gotta
The
work on
next
the
zone.
mechanics at
You
that
know what?
point.
I'll tell you what. Out of all the teams that needed this circle, and Hyper needed it real bad, you know? So let's see how they decide to handle being zone blessed, because it doesn't happen often, Zute.
Yeah, and Hyper. Also, when Hyper gets zone blessed, it's just like, sometimes they don't play it well. Right?
Yeah, they never
Like,
do.
like
yeah.
they really.
It's so
They
they
really
always struggle.
They really gotta work on that.
Yeah.
K19.
Hopefully they can figure it out this game, you know? How to deal with a zone bless in Sanhok. Let's see. I think that maybe they might be able to figure it out with like 15 eliminations. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe 16. I know 16 is not a lot for them.
They're going to be bummed that
'cause
it's not
there's-
20.
Yeah, but seriously, this circle just Hyper written all over it.
Oh my goodness.
But
nice shots.
the long range, 4-1-2, doing a really good job this game as well. Putting in a lot of points, 5 elimination points as well, and they're looking to get way more looking at Wall Street Bets.
Yes, they are. And Cave still in play. It's off the beaten path. I know. All we need is one good hard shift. One good hard shift, and Cave's still in play, baby. Come on. We're at stage
Look at
number
this
4.
rotation by Passion
Yeah,
Fruit.
let's look at that. Yeah, Passion Fruit.
They're just
Sending
full
it.
send one compound and then wrap all the way around. They're going to full send something else. I think they're going to full send. Oh,
Lotus.
They full sent it.
Here they go. Here come the nades. Here comes the util. Juancho got the DBS in his hand. Uh-oh. Zuko does go down.
Yep. Oh, Nate down to 1 HP. Fishy up close. Personal.
Fishy's just getting
Rest of
free
the team.
reign.
Yeah, you might say free reign, but Fishy is tagged up. Smoke's coming down. Oh, he's going to back off.
Oh, that's tough.
He's going to back off.
That's tough.
Passion
Getting
Fruit gets the full
punished.
reset, and BULUC! Wow, what a shot through the smoke. Now Passion Fruit might push this and go aggressive.
It's perfect timing, too, because they were able to get that res off and looted back up. So I love the fact that they checked their backs. They want to check that ridge line first before they made this push. And they did see it was clear, but you never know. You never know. So I think that's why we're seeing so much hesitancy. And every second that's ticking is just allowing Lotus to get a full-blown reset. Come on, Cave!
Yeah, can't push now.
Cave!
I thought they were going to do it because the smokes were already laid down by Fishy. So they could have used those smokes against them.
Oh!
But Cave? No.
like a
We're
nice...
gonna go to where the zone you least expected, Jukes. It's gonna go
Hyper.
on to end hyper.
Come on, you zone magnets. You couldn't hang out in cave for once. You hate to see it. Hate to see it. Like a dagger in the
Maybe
heart.
that's why they weren't on top of cave. Maybe that's why, because they know the zone's not going to cave.
That's right.
They know. They're like, Jukes will love a cave finish, so the zone's not going to go there. So we're not going to play on top of cave. We're going to go over here instead.
Oh, look, we get to see it, though. We get to see it. We get to see a cave fight. It's been so long. And here they go. Miner versus BULUC. Thank you so much, observers. We get to see a cave battle. Imagine an end zone here. Oh, that would have been insane. One day. One day. Meanwhile,
I don't. 2v1. Chat G.
let's see. Chachi throwing the nade. Ooh, off the mark a little bit. Oh, never mind.
Oh,
wow,
on the
he
mark.
ran right into it. He ran right into it. That's gotta hurt. Chachi
Where's
on the
crossfire?
push inside a cave. Let's go. Go ahead and get that little bandage off. Looking to get the finish. Who is gonna be the champions of cave in PMPL Fall? It's probably the only time we're gonna see it. Is it gonna be BULUC, CHABTAN, or Wall Street Bets? Illusion with the
that's
nade.
good.
Got him.
That's a good one. Illusion. Wins the title fight. Wait, hold up.
Wait.
What about the high ground, though?
The NOMADS!
3 point.
The NOMADS!
Gotta hit those.
Oh my
Gotta hit
gosh,
those.
you gotta
Oh.
hit those.
He hit it. But just one more bullet shy from getting the knock right there. Meanwhile, zone is still closing. And PASSIONFRUIT, now you gotta make that push that you could have made earlier. They got another pick, though. LOTUS down to 2. Blow out the door. Might find another angle. Ander with the nade. Decides better of it. Cancels. Pulls the pin again. Now he's got the angle. Valak could see his arm potentially, but Valak further back.
Oh, further back indeed. Trying to make some plays. Let's see. Oh, is Ed Hyper just zone magnets at this point? Looking too good.
Too good. I wonder what's going through N Hyper's head right now. They're probably like, yeah, we do that.
Yeah. As is tradition.
The rest of the map, though, rest of the map is just full-blown chaos. 4-1-2 finally get taken out, and wow, it's actually from Koi. And Hyper, calm down. Let these other teams have a chance. Like, you already get the zone. You don't need to be, like, putting insult to injury by shooting everyone else up. Like, let them fight it out, and then you can get the win at the end, okay? And Hyper.
Let's see right now how N Hyper. How many eliminations is N Hyper gonna get? That is the question. Because they are looking just too unstoppable here at this point. And you can see Koi just blasting away. Blasting away, just looking to just dominate and make that and punch that ticket to PMGC even harder than ever before.
Man, their long-range accuracy is something else. Because other teams could get the zone, just like N Hyper, right? But they won't be able to pull up the points like N Hyper does. N Hyper just maximizes it with their accuracy.
Tensa looking to make some plays. Here comes Execute, okay? Execute is still up and running. Been a while since we've seen Execute here at the end of the game. So let's see how they're going to be able to finish here. PASSIONFRUIT's still alive. PASSIONFRUIT has been popping off 10 eliminations so far.
Wancho. Oh, he gets caught. And I think that's PASSIONFRUIT out. Yeah, PASSIONFRUIT is out. NOMADS also down. He went for those shots to steal the point, gave away his position. Gets taken down. We're down to the last 4 teams. N Hyper with 4 players still up. Execute and MEZEXIS have 3, so one of those 2 teams could do something here still, and you can't count out Extreme Slayers. If they wait and play their cards right, they could potentially steal a chicken dinner away also. But it requires N Hyper to mess up. And N Hyper, they're just not messing up today.
No, they're not. I mean, when they get to the zone like this, it is just automatic victory. So they should win this game. I think it is definitely theirs to lose. MEZEXIS has a chance, though. They're 3 players up. If they're able to find some angles here, they could definitely get in the mix. But Extreme Slayers remix is still alive, and that's always a huge threat.
Here comes a push from Execute. Casper goes down. Look at the repositioning out of the first player for that line of defense. Just stalling long enough to put in the sightlines for his teammates to have time to get a knock. And now he's going to stay there and be a potential threat. So he's not just full out evacuating. He's staying a moving target.
Fate, nice shot there on the baton. Beautiful angle right there from Fate. Meanwhile, Ed Hyper just saying, stop it. Stop it. Goodbye.
Nope. Nice shots, but here's an even nicer nade, says Kindness.
Good effort. Good effort. You know, you had your fun. Now let us get this game over with. It's Saturday. We're looking to, you know, eat some more chicken.
Yeah, it's criminal how easy and Hyper makes it look. Like, execute push up with 3. They make it into the building. It's like, oh, that's progress. And then Kindness just walks up.
Walks up.
He just walks up. A 1-for-2 nade.
Saying, hey, what are you guys doing?
Thanks for playing. We're down to just Extreme Slayers now, and I think it's the 2 from Extreme Slayers. If anyone could upset and defeat N Hyper, it's not YKG anymore. I feel like they are just kind of down and out. It would be Extreme Slayers. That's my next team to bet on to take down N Hyper. But with only 2, man, this is N Hyper. This is N Hyper's game. But we'll see what happens because Remix is up.
Remix is up. Still alive. Can Extreme Slayers pull off the impossible and make a monster play here? Let's
There's
see.
one.
Remix.
Goes for the thirst.
Hayuya.
Hayuya. Yeah.
Oh,
he can
got
isolate
DPS.
this 1v1.
Take
He needs
it.
to win
Take
this
it.
one, though.
Remix can't go down. He's got to go up against Kindness. He's got to win that fight. Oh, he doesn't get it done. Easy clap and a chicken dinner for Ed Hyper, as is predicted.
And Hyper, what a great win. One thing that I noticed at the very end that just impresses me even more than Hyper was when Ren was caught in that 1v1 with Hayuya, did you notice how he just ran back and forth pretending like he was going to challenge him? But he didn't. So, Jukes, imagine if he did challenge him. He went down. Then Hayuya had supporting cover fire for Remix, and then it's a 2v2. And Hyper loses that.
Yep, they do.
Right?
They do. Crazy.
So it's the details. The details in Hyper are so disciplined. Every single player, if it wasn't Ren in that position, you interchange them out, Jukes, they would have done the same exact thing in my opinion. That's why they're playing so well. It's the details. All 4 players know exactly what to do in every situation. He just kept moving back and forth, kept Hayuya's attention on him, so he couldn't help out Remix in the 1v2.
Unbelievable.
It sounds like we're just praising N Hyper way too much, but there's a reason why they're doing so well, and it's the details, Jukes. They have it down to a T.
Yeah, you know what? Ain't just the details. They're unleashing the beast, baby. Just like our official energy drink partner, Monster Energy. So, guys, what a crazy, crazy day. And Hyper just stamping it once again here, Zute. It's just too good. It's just too good.
Yeah, too easy. Too easy. As we head to the highlights, we'll see what the desk have to say about today. So we'll be right back, guys.
And Hyper. That's all I really need to say, man. And Hyper. Damn. Another victory today. That puts him at 6 here so far in Phase 2. Sitting at 196 points with still 1 day to play. Uneven. I kind of hope that Hyper make it to regionals. I kind of hope to make it to PMGC now.
I mean, they're looking like they have a very, very clear shot to PMGC. YKG have a ton of work to put in if they're hoping to even catch up at this current point. So
YKG are 116 points behind. And Hyper.
That is like, and that lead, continuing this trajectory is just going to grow, right? Like even if, you need an Hyper to go AFK at this point, and then like, it'll still take a couple days for them to catch up.
I mean, if you're a Hyper, right? Just don't do anything crazy. Just play the way you've been playing, and you're gonna get into the biggest tournament of the year. Like that's all. If I was them, that's my focus. Regional. I mean, obviously you want to make regionals, but the way they're playing, with the amount of points they have, they're probably gonna make regionals. But just PMGC, just keep coasting like this. It's all you need to do. Take a look at the match rankings though, and see all the points they got, which should have been 21, I believe, with 11 eliminations. There it is. MEZEXIS is getting 14, but PASSIONFRUIT, man. I obviously talk a lot about in Hyper, but PASSIONFRUIT have been on a tear.
Absolutely, they're staying up there. A 12-point game they're keeping up with their top 3 placement. They're not relaxing. They didn't get lucky. They're doing this consistently. So I really like this increase in performance, especially in elimination points. I think they're playing more aggressive. They're playing cleaner, and they're maintaining it. And yeah, I mean, they don't really have a shot for first, but go for second. You can always improve yourselves and get ready for the next week. And perhaps if you keep it up and even improve a little bit, next week you can have a shot for first. Once all the scores reset, and then of course the finals.
PASSIONFRUIT was 16th place at the end of week 1 with 89 points. Do you want to tell you where they are now?
Third place? Second place? Third?
They are... Oh, okay. I have to look for it again. They are second place at 126 points.
Wonderful.
Second place!
I mean, you can call that the sixless effect, right? Like the effect of him leaving.
Yeah. Well, okay. All right. Well, also to give you an idea, right? Because we do have like the general rankings, which is going to be used to determine which teams obviously make it through into the finals, but obviously the bonus points as well. And Hyper in first at 392, Extreme Slayers second at 323, YKG third at 316. So really using the 220 points they got week 1 to carry them through.
Yeah.
And then Puppeteers in fourth place at 233. So we've seen some teams move, but again, like YKG, the damage they did in week 1 is carrying them through at the moment when it comes to our general overalls. They still have a lot of work to do, just like a couple other teams we're seeing here on that match ranking.
Yeah, but I don't think that week 1 will be able to carry them through this third week if they continue at this trajectory. I think they're gonna start shooting. There is like that gap that of time that they've afforded themselves, right, from the huge performance. But if they continue being this stagnant, that gap basically is going to disappear in the third week, and then that whole chunk of teams that are really closely in points are going to shoot up, and they're going to shoot way down, right?
Yeah.
So that's definitely a fear for the third week for them.
Well, kindness, or not kindness. What am I talking about? Kindness. Uneven. I'm thinking ahead to the MVP, and he's actually be my prediction of who the MVP is going to be. If I were to ask you who you think the MVP is going to be, who do you got?
I believe I saw a couple. Oh, well, there's the MVP.
I guess you're going to go with kindness.
I'd have to guess kindness personally.
If you messed that up, yeah, if you messed that up, I would have laughed. But actually, right behind kindness, who's obviously been just dominating this entire time, you got Zuko for PASSIONFRUIT.
Okay. Yeah,
on the day,
I mean,
obviously.
That's what you want to see. One thing to point out right here is this absurd survival time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're basically being in the top 3, top 5 situations every game, or when you're looking at times like that. So we love to see that extreme consistency today. Very well played to kindness. 11 KD, nothing too crazy, or 11 kills or eliminations. But yeah, still a fantastic, consistent day. Yet again.
Yeah, it's been a great day for Hyper. It's been a great day for PASSIONFRUIT, and honestly, I want to keep seeing them do it. I know you want to be a banana. I don't know what fruit I would be. Did I say? Oh yeah, I was a durian, right? Because I'm delicious, but I also smell. But it's also delicious, but also smells great. Monster Energy, our official energy drink partner here at PMPL. You guys can unleash the beast by picking one up and chugging it on down. Honestly, I feel like PASSIONFRUIT. Is there a PASSIONFRUIT flavored monster?
I have no idea.
I think there might be. I think we just came up with an idea. PASSIONFRUIT Esports, Monster Energy, sponsorship. Oh, that would be great. That'd be a great little like collab between them. But you know, it's also been a great collab. All 4 of us here on the show as well. So Uneven, thank you so much for joining me, Hot Jukes and Zute as well. But we got to end off the day. We are going to be back tomorrow, though. We have one more day of action here in this phase before we go on a week break and then come back with the 3rd and final phase to determine who's going to make it to the finals. You're not going to want to miss out on tomorrow's action, so make sure you're here for some more PUBG Mobile.
Might be going out, but it's all he can finish it. Down to 40 HP through the smoke. There's no way he can get this.
Throws the grenade, but Bane comes in.
He does it! He does it!